or discriminates against others. Board members who violate the code of conduct or the meeting procedures may be ruled out of order. Furthermore, any texting or electronic communication by board members during the meeting is subject to disclosure under the public records law if requested. Finally, there will be a public comment portion of the meeting as outlined in the agenda. Again, we have specific rules and expectations that were shared ahead of this meeting and that were also available in the back of the room. If you wish to speak, please make sure that you have signed up for public comment at those locations where those handouts were at. Until we get to that portion of the meeting, no audience members will be recognized to speak. Outbursts and audible comments will be ruled out of order and asked to cease. If the conduct continues, they will be removed. We expect that everyone will abide by our rules and procedures to ensure that the presenters and the board can be heard and get through this agenda. Please be reminded that we are all one community and that we are here for all students and their education. So at this point, we'll start our first presentation, and also mention too that the times that are listed on the agenda are estimates based on our best guess. That does not change the fact that there's still 60 minutes set aside for public comment. We'll now begin with an informational presentation with legal counsel, Mick Walsberger from Squires, Walsberger and Mays, PA. He will discuss the overview of Title IX, summary of case law, privacy rights and communication. Board members will have an opportunity to ask Mr. Walsberger questions after he has completed all of his presentations, as is listed in the agenda. Mr. Walsberger.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. Again, I'm Mick Walsberger. Just by way of background, for those of you who don't know me, I've been practicing law since 1994 and I've been representing school districts since 1996. And I feel like I truly have one of the best jobs in the world. I work with people who want to do the right thing, and even when we have tough issues like we're talking about tonight, at the end, everyone wants to do the right thing. I want to mention a few things about my role, because sometimes the role of the attorney is misunderstood. First, I represent the board. I represent you as a body. So by majority vote, you dictate what it is that I do. My role is to advise you based on the state of the law. I do not share my personal opinions. I do not share any kind of political views that I may or may not have. My advice is based again on my best unbiased reading of the law. Ethically, the second thing country in terms of the case, particularly at the federal level. And this is a more recent development that we're seeing, and I'm gonna spend some time talking about what the court cases hold and where I think things might be headed here. Again, in the Seventh Circuit, we have a pretty well-established body of law. That body of law begins with the decision in the Whitaker case, and that was Whitaker versus Kenosha Unified School District in 2017. And in that case, the issue is whether the district's policy of denying a 17-year-old biologically female transgender student access to male restrooms violated Title IX. The Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals granted the transgender student's motion for a preliminary injunction, meaning the Court of Appeals said, you are likely to prevail on the merits of this case. Usually that's dispositive of the entire case. And so what that meant is that the district was prohibited from disallowing the student to use the restroom based on gender identity. In other words, the transgender student was deemed to have a right to use the restroom based on gender identity. Now, when you lose in one of these cases, when you're the school district, and you lose the injunction, well, you've lost basically down the line, you're going to lose on the merits of the case. But that also means you end up paying not only your attorney's fees, but the other side's attorney's fees. And if there's a damages award down the road, you end up paying that as well. So it can be costly. The next case we have in our jurisdiction is from 2023, and that's AC versus Metro School District of Martinsburg. And in that case, the facts were that a student's parent contacted the school to request that the child be permitted to use the boys' bathroom in accordance with the student's gender identity. The school refused and stated that the student could use the girls' bathroom or a gender-neutral bathroom at the school's health clinic. The school also offered to accommodate the student by allowing the student to attend school either online or by not penalizing the student if the student were late in coming to class because the student was using a restroom that was further down the way. The student did not accept those accommodations, stating that they would essentially out the student as a transgender student. The student sued the school district, and it went all the way up after prevailing at the federal district court, and again up to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. And the Seventh Circuit stated that it, quote, had no trouble concluding that discrimination against transgender persons is sex discrimination for Title IX purposes. And based on the likelihood of success on the merits, the court affirmed the lower court's decision, granted the injunction. So that's another district then that paid those attorney's fees and the damages were to follow. The most recent case we have is out of 2025, and that's DP versus Mukwonago Area School District. That case involved an 11-year-old transgender student's challenge to a district policy that required her to use the boys' bathroom and locker room or a gender-neutral alternative. The student alleged that the policy violated her rights under Title IX and the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. In third grade, the student was enrolled in another district, and things were going fine. But eventually, teachers and administrators, they supported the student, but then parents started to form a group called the Mukwonago Parents for Normal Education and wrote posts claiming that the student was dangerous. The school board ultimately met and decided to change its policies and to prohibit the student from using bathrooms based on gender identity, and essentially said that the student could use a gender-neutral bathroom. The issue went back up to the court again of whether a school district policy requiring students to use the bathroom corresponding to their sex at birth violates the Equal Protection Clause in Title IX, and once again, the Seventh Circuit said it did violate the law. The court refused to reconsider its earlier rulings, despite requests from the school district to do so. Now, this case is interesting because we've had a unique development. Shortly after that case was decided, the U.S. Supreme Court decided a well-known case called United States versus Scrimeti. And the Scrimeti case is the case that dealt with whether Tennessee statute prohibiting healthcare providers from administering puberty blockers or hormones to minors to treat gender dysphoria, gender identity dysphoria, or other gender incongruence violated the Equal Protection Clause. And to the surprise of many, based on other cases the U.S. Supreme Court had issued. The U.S. Supreme Court said that the law did not classify individuals based on transgender status, but only classified them based on age as minors or medical use. And ultimately, what happens here is based on that U.S. Supreme Court case, there's now a question about whether transgender individuals have an equal protection claim under the U.S. Constitution. And so after that case was issued, then the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals decided to vacate its earlier decision and rehear the matter, ask the parties to rebrief it and say, hey, does the U.S. Supreme Court's case change anything such that our decisions might change? And I want you to know it's possible that the Seventh Circuit could change course here and could issue a contrary decision. And if they do, I'm going to stand here and tell you the law was different at that point in time. However, as of this date, they haven't done that. And so we're just in a spot of speculating as to what the court may or may not do. So right now, again, we're kind of still understanding, we are still under the previous decisions that the court issued, stating that students have the right to use, transgender students have the right to use restrooms and locker room facilities in accordance with their gender identity. These cases are binding in Minnesota. As a result of these cases, the vast majority of, Wisconsin, thank you. Yes. The vast majority of school, appreciate that clarification. The vast majority of school districts in Wisconsin follow the law. All but 3, to our knowledge, that those cases involved. But they followed the law and they didn't necessarily go out and adopt policies. But what they decided to do is to say, just like we have thousands of other cases on the books, thousands of other statutes on the books, we're just going to act in accordance with those and afford transgender students the rights that they have in our jurisdictions. Most districts don't adopt policies, as I mentioned. One of the reasons, in addition to what I said, is that the law is still evolving. And so we want to be able to make sure we have flexibility, but also most districts have found that it is most productive to work individually with families of transgender students in order to try to work through solutions that make the most sense for everybody. And that's what the case has been in this district as well. One of the common questions that we get is, can any male student just walk into a locker room, girls' locker room?
Yes, they can. Yes.
And the answer is no.
Yes.
All districts
Fine.
employ measures to ensure that there's a genuine need to use a restroom based on gender identity.
Yes, they can just hang out there all day taking selfies.
Without a genuine need are subject to discipline as a result of doing that.
Right. Not true.
Again, there seems to be this impression that, this is my view of the world, and it's not.
It is your view.
Federal
It's your view. We all know it's your view.
That's the reality.
Go back to Minnesota.
Why don't you tell Whitaker decided to drop their appeal?
You're on the order, Mr.
You're on the order, Schaefer. Yep.
We will be forced to take a recess if we're not able to finish.
That's what you like to do.
Then let him talk.
So let them talk. Thank you.
Let him talk for an hour and babble. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Good, Andrew.
We will be heard.
You don't want to hear. You don't want to hear.
So one of the other common questions that we receive is, well, why not, just stand up and say, we disagree with this? We have a lot of areas of the community we disagree. Why not just say, we're going to take their position and, not follow the law as it's articulated by your federal courts? And frankly, school districts are just not good vehicles for legal change. You don't have a vote. You can't change what the law says. All you can do is violate the law and then be sued. And when you violate the law, again, you're paying out funds that would otherwise go to the classroom. And who benefits from that? The plaintiff and the plaintiff's lawyers. So there is not value in doing that. School boards do not have the legal right to just simply.
Yes, they do.
follow the law. There are also other issues that arise when school boards decide to willfully violate the law. One is that your insurance company can quickly say, you know what, we're not gonna defend you on this, we don't have to. You made a willful choice to violate the law. The
No.
other is that school board members can be personally liable when they
Yeah.
willfully,
Yeah.
intentionally violate the law. So that certainly is a concern. This is not an issue that's addressed at the local level. It's an issue that should be addressed to the legislature. And, you know, the analogy I would draw for you is that if I don't like the speed limit on my road, and I don't, right? If I don't like the speed limit on my road and I go out and I yell all day long at the oak tree in my yard, I swear at it, I raise my voice at it, I call all kinds of names.
Why are
none
we
of that
talking about it?
is gonna result in any change in the law. Because that tree has no power to change the law. And nobody here has any authority on the board to change that.
The
And
Supreme
that's the
Court's
simple
never ruled
reality
on this.
that when we look at
The prairie doesn't
Time.
have a peanut.
Ah,
Why are there other school districts in the state of Wisconsin that
You're out of order.
we're not, yeah.
obviously it can be done, it's a choice.
Other districts that have done this in the state of Wisconsin have been sued. And
fine.
the
Let
law
them
that
do
says,
it.
hang on, the law that says this is the law that says this is Title IX as interpreted by your courts, not as interpreted by me. So that's where that's at.
So the girls have to voice.
You're out of order, please. Please let him finish. In the fairness of everyone, please let him.
What about when a girl's raped? What about girl, yeah. What happens when a girl gets raped?
So the next area to cover are executive orders, because we often get a lot of questions about executive orders, and so I want to spend some time addressing those. And first of all, talking about what is an executive order and to whom do they apply. An executive order is a directive from the President of the United States to the executive branch. It applies to agencies and employees in the executive branch. It does not apply to states or to local governments. Executive orders may interpret law, but they may not create new law. They cannot legally remove funding that's already been appropriated, including funding for school districts. And executive orders cannot override state law or state constitution. But most significantly in your jurisdiction, executive orders are subordinate to federal court rulings. And to the extent that one is contrary to the federal court's ruling, it would be, again, the federal court ruling that controls. Now, regardless of political affiliations, I would hope that we all respect the office of the president and all recognize the historical importance and value of executive orders. And similarly, I would hope that we all respect the judiciary branch and judicial branch and the authority that it has in terms of reviewing executive orders and statutes and law. There are two main executive orders that I want to mention to you. And the first one is the January 2025 one, defending women from gender ideology and restoring truth of the federal government. And that order directed all federal agencies and departments in the executive branch, including the Department of Education, to enforce all sex protective laws to promote the reality, and I'm quoting, that there are two sexes, male and female, and that these sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental. The second executive order dated February 5, 2025, is titled No Men in Women's Sports. And that order stated that it's the policy of the federal government to rescind all funds from educational programs that deprive women and girls of fair athletic opportunities. I also wanted to mention that there was also.
Previous slide, we talked about bullet point 2. It talks about how the DOE is supposed to enforce actions based on.
No, he skipped over it.
He makes a good point.
So then, and I will get to this if you allow me an opportunity. So the Department of Education was ordered by the president to enforce Title IX consistent with its order. But that has limited teeth for two reasons. One, the Department of Education cannot pull back funds that have already been appropriated by Congress. And two, a federal district court issued a nationwide injunction ruling that President Trump's January 2025 executive order was unconstitutional and could not take effect. There have also been a number of other cases addressing the no men in women's sports. The Trump executive orders, the President Trump executive orders, also conflict with the Seventh Circuit's interpretation of Title IX. And unless and until we have a change from the Seventh Circuit, it goes on
Which
to
would
the Seventh
come
Circuit's
as early as
so they don't
June with
change the
Supreme
state
Court
law
rulings.
in Wisconsin. That could change, as I said. The Seventh Circuit is reevaluating things. I want to talk briefly about the Wisconsin state law as well. We have a definition of discrimination. I'm not going to sit here and read it for you, but
Does not include gender identity.
next slide in terms of Wisconsin state law. I want to just touch base real quick. There's an attorney general opinion, a federal attorney general opinion does not have the force of law. And just kind of really reiterating the views that were espoused in the executive orders. The Wisconsin law, because again, I apologize. Wisconsin law defines discrimination, and it's not clear that it covers gender identity.
It doesn't.
It covers
It's
sexual
clear. It
orientation.
doesn't.
At one time, it was interpreted by the Department of Public Instruction to cover.
Well, by the Department of Public Instruction.
There are a couple of proposed
No,
laws in
Wisconsin statute does not include gender
We
identity.
have those up there. And one more. One more, yeah, so there are some proposed laws in Wisconsin that would change the legal landscape significantly. The bills are Senate Bill 117 and Assembly Bill 100. And these bills will prohibit students whose sex assigned at birth is male from participating in female athletics. Also, students whose sex assigned at birth is male would also be prohibited from using female locker rooms, subject to federal case law. Those bills have not yet passed or been signed,
Oh.
but if they are, again, I'll be the first one to come here and tell you. the law
Oh,
is
of course,
different
they always say that crap.
today.
Oh, yes, I'll come back.
There,
Whatever.
next slide if you could. I want to talk for a minute about privacy rights and communication. And one of the common questions that we hear is, why can't we just tell people that a transgender student is using a map? Why can't we let parents know that? And we can't do that because it would violate federal and state law. The Federal Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act prohibit or protects student privacy and says that records, including things like
My
transgender
child,
status,
not yours.
are confidential as a matter of law. The Wisconsin Pupil Records Law also provides that information like transgender status is confidential under the law. That information can only be shared with school officials who have a legitimate need to know the information. And so you probably noticed, even as board members, you don't receive information about individual students, nor would that be appropriate.
But we all gotta bow down to it.
For that,
Yeah.
there's no legitimate educational interest or need to know the information and your duties. as a
They're
board
minors,
member.
they can't consent.
So what this means for school districts is that they're prohibited from disclosing information about transgender status or about transgender students using restrooms. And sometimes people say, well, why can't you just say some student is without identifying the student? And the problem is that the educational community is a relatively small community. And students know, and that information quickly circulates. And if you can link the information back to an individual student, that would also violate the law. So that particular information cannot be disclosed.
We can only have 198 people watching.
So let's talk about some common questions and where we go from here. One of the common questions, additional common questions I get is, districts can inform parents that their child has COVID, or that our child in school has COVID, and why can't we inform them that the transgender student is using the restroom? Again, when we're informing a parent that their own child has COVID, that's data on their own child, not data on somebody else. When we,
But you sent a bunch of them home.
when we inform a parent that, so let's talk about lice. If we get a situation where a student has lice, we don't call parents and say, hey, Bobby Jones has lice, and that's not your student, right? Nobody's gonna do that. We don't disclose data on other students. By law, we're obligated to protect the confidentiality of data on all students. Also, we do have concerns in this area about targeting and harassment, and we need to be careful.
What about the girls?
Because harassment is prohibited by policy and law, and can also give rise to legal actions. Another question that I've received is, what if we allow an 18-year-old student in the bathroom? Could that student then be charged with unlawful exposure to a female student?
Yes.
And first of all, my response is you shouldn't be exposing yourself to anybody.
That's the problem.
You're gonna stop him, right?
And if the 18-year-old is exposing himself or herself to anyone in the bathroom, they should be more concerned about unlawful exposure. Another question that we often receive is, what about privacy lawsuits? Don't the girls who were using these bathrooms, if a biologically male transgender student is using the bathroom, doesn't that violate their privacy rights? And it would seem, from a common sense standpoint, that might be the case. But the courts have said that there is no fundamental right.
Oh my God, you should be fired.
And every single privacy lawsuit that's been brought, and there have been many of them around the country, has failed. So that is not, has not been not an interpretation when the court says case dismissed. Those lawsuits have failed. Why not be a test case? Why not be a test case as one of the other questions? We can change the law with a test case. Rarely does that ever work, first of all. Second of all, being the test case just means you're going to pay all the money, particularly if you lose. And even if you win, you got to pay all the money. But being the test case, there's no value in that for a school district. You're just diverting funds again from the classroom and
Just
choosing,
to let him talk
and you
all
are
the time.
choosing a situation where your insurance company is going to say, we're not going to defend you, and you're putting yourselves out there to say to somebody, hey, try to hold this person liable, because we're going to willfully choose to deviate from the law. So one of the questions that I want to answer to is, where do you go from here? Right now, your policies are in compliance with the law. I would continue to follow the law, continue to monitor for changes. There are a number of potential changes on the horizon. I mentioned one with your 7th Circuit that is re-examining its prior decisions. We all know that the U.S. Supreme Court right now is looking at the rights of boys and men to participate in sports and women's sports. And that case will have a pivotal outcome, I believe, in Wisconsin and in a lot of other states as well. So we certainly can wait. It's not going to be long before we get decisions in both of those areas. And the other thing you can do is you can just say, we're just going to change the law and hope, or we're going to change our policies and hope that the law changes. But that's speculation, putting yourself at risk for no reason.
Oh,
It's just a matter of waiting. It's a
you're
matter
putting
of
my
waiting
daughter at risk.
to see where the law comes.
Let's risk it.
Again, when I say no reason, I'm saying we comply with the law as the courts have articulated it to us today.
Great, thank you very much.
So at this time, I'm happy to take board member questions if now is the time for that.
Does Troy know?
You go, Ben.
Come on,
Just a
Ben.
reminder, just a reminder again of the rules.
The rules.
And then again, any board member that has a question regarding the presentation, to address the presenter, just is able to speak once they're recognized. And we'll make sure that we can even this out for everybody. Ben, you have the first one?
check.
He's allowed to talk
It's
again.
only allowed us 200 views.
Does
Okay.
34 CFR 106.33 permit sex-separated bathrooms and locker rooms, yes or no?
The statute on its face does, but the courts have said that the right,
Oh, look at that.
It's not the statute, it's the regulation. The answer on its face, first of all, we're not gonna, stop, hang on, wait a minute, we are not gonna play this game. We are not gonna play that game, you have to let me answer my question. If you have a question, let me answer it.
Let him answer.
If you have a question, let me answer it. The answer is that the federal regulation does state what you said it states, but the courts have said that sex also includes gender identity.
Oh my
And the courts have specifically ruled.
Oh my God.
And this is not the law according to Mick, this is the law according to your Seventh Circuit. So I'm finished in my answer, I'm happy to entertain another question.
It's God's law.
I can finish now? Thank you. If it permits separation, then this isn't a Title IX requirement. This is a choice in your interpretation.
Yep.
Is this a question? Is that a question? If you want to, if you want to be heard, that's great, but we need to encourage everyone to allow him to ask the question, not interrupt. If you want him to ask the question, answer.
Yep. Shut up, Taylor.
I have another question, please. Okay. So you said Whitaker leaves us with no choice in Wisconsin. Are you saying Whitaker requires every district and every building and every age to open girls' spaces based on gender identity regardless of alternatives? Yes or no?
Yes, Whitaker and the two cases that follow that I covered today, yes.
For 9-year-olds? Why can't they have a separate bathroom?
That issue has been specifically addressed by the Second Circuit in terms of whether gender-neutral bathrooms would be sufficient. And the Seventh Circuit has said it doesn't.
But that decision's already, no, that's not true. That's absolutely not true.
And the court is talking about overthrowing it right now, so.
Can I address the thing about Whitaker? So I have more questions. Because a party decides not to appeal further, it doesn't change the law that's in place.
Oh my God.
Whitaker is
That's a
on the
law.
books currently.
Whitaker's not-
And the Seventh Circuit, as I've said repeatedly here today, in light of Scrimeti, is reconsidering its previous decisions. And if it changes those decisions,
Just
I'll be the
go.
first one to say, the law has been
We
changed.
don't want to.
But right now, the law
law
is
too, it
still
doesn't
on,
make it right.
excuse me, right now, the law is still on the books.
We don't, I'm ready for my next question when you are. So,
I'm gonna give opportunity, wait.
Shut up.
I acknowledge, I want fairly, on behalf of all board members, an opportunity to ask a question, so we'll give everybody else.
No, we want Ben to talk.
Questions?
Yeah, none of you men are.
You never let Ben talk. Let Ben talk.
Any questions?
Yeah, I don't care about Tim or Moby or Gardner.
Greg Gardner.
Two questions for you. Tell us about the schools that, I don't know how many schools you said there was that are not recognizing this as law right now. And secondly, I had several people ask me about if this could ever be on a referendum. This type of question.
I'm gonna address the second one first. A referendum wouldn't make any difference, a local referendum, because it's gotta be changed either through your state legislature or it's a state level referendum. And even then, it would be subordinate to federal law. And, I think that there's some movement potentially in Congress. But I think the Supreme Court's decision in the case dealing with athletics is going to be really pivotal, in moving forward. The only, to my knowledge, the only Wisconsin districts that had chose not to follow the law were the ones that were sued in cases that I talked about. I'm not aware of another one, and perhaps there's one out there, but I'm not aware of another district that's knowingly violating the law. And one of the reasons why this is an area where we don't see a lot of districts violate the law is because right now, the law is clear in our circuit. Again, it's subject to change quickly if that Seventh Circuit flips its decision. But right now, it's been tried 3 times, and 3 times districts have lost and paid out significant funds. And if you're an insurance company, you're saying, you don't get to use our money to play a game when the court's 3 times
It's not
said
your money.
the law is
That's
X.
an executive order.
Prices on our girls' heads again.
Did that answer your question sufficiently? Thank you.
What about the taxpayer?
That's our money.
There's an executive order.
Of the school district.
Has any Wisconsin district lost federal funding for maintaining sex-separated bathrooms consistent with 106.33? And if so, name one.
To my knowledge, no district
Oh, there you
across
go.
the country has lost federal funding for any reason. There have been numerous threats back and forth from one administration to another to remove federal funding, but to my knowledge, it's never happened.
Next question, why is the burden placed on girls? To walk farther, wait longer, be late, request special passes, while the policy removes their privacy? That's not accommodation, that's displacement.
Why you would ask that question? And
Are you joking?
I'm not writing the law. I'm not writing the law, and I'm not giving my opinion on the law. I'm simply telling you what the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals has said.
We don't care what
3
they say.
separate times.
There's
Well, I spent last week with other lawyers arguing the opposite, so they've seen that it's your interpretation. I think it's accurate.
Correct.
Subscribe to the channel. This is the live channel.
Other question?
Will you
Bring the
consider a
live
policy to
viewer
keep
limit.
sex-separated spaces and offer single-user private options to any student requesting extra privacy?
That is not my role to consider policies.
No, it's
Would
Schaefer's.
you advise the board?
Again,
I would not advise the board to take any action that would violate. the
Oh,
law. I
you're
do not
violating
authorize
my
the board to do
daughter.
that.
And Schaefer doesn't,
Sounds like you're the decision maker.
As you can clearly hear, not everyone agrees that they are. That is. So you said no, then this isn't about inclusion, it's about ideology, because a reasonable accommodation does exist.
is this a question? Ben?
This is a
This is a Q&A.
Same topic.
It's not an ideology,
it does,
it's a case decision.
oh,
It's not my decision, it's not my role, it's your Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. 3 times over.
So you agree then that
That
106.33 permits sex-separated bathrooms and locker rooms, yes?
I've answered that question, yes.
Okay. And you agree Whitaker is not a one-line mandate for every scenario, regardless of facts and alternatives?
Whitaker and its progeny, in the 2 cases that followed, clearly state that transgender students have a right under Title IX and then under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to use facilities based upon their gender identity, and that it is insufficient to require transgender students to use a gender-neutral bathroom.
So that's
I can't believe I paid property taxes for this.
I answered the question, sir.
So, do you agree there are legal, safety, and privacy risks on both sides? Both sides have.
yeah.
issues they can face? If you're sort of worried about being sued.
No, in terms of, because every privacy lawsuit to date has been dismissed, has been unsuccessful, so that risk is exceedingly low. The vast majority of the cases brought by transgender students for not allowing them to use restrooms or locker rooms based on gender identity, the vast majority of those cases, the courts have ruled in favor of the transgender student. So that risk is currently high. If the Seventh Circuit vacates and issues a decision abrogating or overruling its prior precedent, then you'll be on solid ground to do that. And again, I believe you'll have that decision one way or another within relatively short order.
But you're referring to actually winning the case, whether we win or lose. If we go to court, we've already lost, because it's gonna cost the district money. And there's hundreds of parents that may sue, and only a handful of families on the other side that might sue if you don't. So it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like we're putting the district at risk.
Work the numbers.
You don't see it that way?
No, I don't, because the reality is, though, whether you're going to win or lose the lawsuit, that's what I'm here to give you an assessment of. And right now, as the law currently stands, you will lose a lawsuit if you deny a transgender student the right to use facilities based on gender identity. Right now, as the law currently stands, you will prevail in a lawsuit if families bring a claim saying that it violates privacy rights in the bathroom. So that's where the law is right now. Can that change, as I've said several times? Absolutely it could.
You only can kill a person once.
You're out of order.
I'm not sure whether that comment was intended to be a threat or not.
That was not a threat. Come on.
They're allowed to be upset.
Not allowed to incite violence.
What states for those lawsuits for transgenders? What are they from?
This is not Q and A.
Oh,
Q&A.
it is a Q&A. Says question.
Let's move on.
What state?
What states for the transgender win their lawsuits then?
Wisconsin and Indiana are two in our circuit. Across the country, the vast majority of all states.
All right, and my final question, can you please tell me or cite the exact controlling authority that requires our district to allow opposite sex access to girls' bathrooms, locker rooms? What statute, regulation, or binding court order?
There are 3 binding court decisions: Whitaker versus Kenosha, AC versus Metro School District in Martinsville, and DP versus Quantico, although that is currently vacated.
Yes,
So
and
I feel
Whitaker
like
does
there
not
are 2
require it. Quantico is
decisions
vacated.
on the books that currently require it. And those federal
No,
court
there's
decisions.
no,
are
you know, no
binding
statute,
any
no
statute.
authority, no
Can you
federal,
elaborate
no
on
state
Whitaker?
law, nothing.
Because they
They're
have
pinning
the-
everything on Whitaker. They always do.
They're advising to overturn it, so.
Yep.
So-
Anything about that?
When a party drops an appeal, that doesn't change the decision that's on the books. That decision is binding precedent on everybody in your state, including all the school districts. And so there's no change in the law right now. The 7th Circuit is indeed looking at its prior decisions. But right now, that does not mean it's going to change its prior decisions.
No, but
It is just under a mandate to
on the
do
wall.
so.
Yep.
No, not necessarily. It's under a mandate to do so based on
It's
its
a
credentials.
mandate.
It might, in fact, make that change. It might say, hey, we were wrong, in which case, then your audience here, by and large, sounds like they're gonna be happy. But right now, that's not the law. Right now, the law is what was stated in Whitaker and in AC.
Then how come Watertown, Wisconsin can separate the sexes and not get sued?
There you go.
I don't know the Watertown is or is not, so I can speak to that. And maybe it's just a matter of time before they get that lawsuit.
And they're not the only one, there's several. I've identified 4 in the state that don't have that policy and outright ban it, so how are they allowed to do it and we can't?
Be the first to do the
I don't know whether that's accurate or not. The same argument that is accurate.
There's many
It
states
may be
that
just a matter of rolling the dice to see when the lawsuit evolves.
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. Let's
Roll the
go.
dice. Roll the
Let's,
dice.
no more questions? Go ahead. Thank you very much, Mr. Walsberger.
Thank you.
Next. Next, our presenter is Kathy Rogers, Director of Student Services, to talk about the history of school district and Richmond Title IX adoptions.
She's not a board member. Why does she need to speak?
Why do you speak out? Well, you're not board member. I can't tell Tiffany.
Yeah, why can't?
Not a resident.
I can't tell Tiffany speak.
She's not either.
You make exceptions, everybody gets to rule.
Thank you, Kathy. Go ahead.
I'm here to provide a very brief history of Title IX adoptions in the school district of New Richmond. Title IX, as we just covered, is a federal law that protects students from discrimination based on sex. Our district has a strong history of following Title IX and making sure that staff are trained. Federal rules for Title IX were updated in 2020 and again in 2024. The district follows current federal law, board policies, and guidance from legal experts to make sure that we stay compliant. Our current framework, in August of 2020, Title IX regulations became effective under the Trump administration. Staff members were trained in accordance with the law. These 2020 rules are still the ones that we follow today. The district has not received any formal Title IX complaints since this adoption.
Oh, you gotta know.
The federal government introduced the 2024 Title IX updates in the summer of 2024. Key changes, as I presented to the board back in August of 2024, were the following: a faster, simpler investigative process, allowing staff to hold multiple roles, so you could be a coordinator and you also could investigate. IEP meeting and notification requirements if a student with a disability was involved in an allegation. Expanded protections for pregnancy, and expanded definition of sex and protections to include transgender students. Information was also provided to the board that adopting the 2024 updates would not create new protections for transgender students as they already existed in Wisconsin, according to the 7th Circuit Court. In 2024, the Title IV revisions were presented to the board. After discussion, the board chose to not adopt the 2024 updates. The motion to adopt the 2024 revisions was tabled on August 14th, 2024. Motion made by Greg Gardner, seconded by Ben Engelhardt, to table the discussion, and that motion was carried. Since then, there was no adoption of the 2024 revision. The district continued to use the 2020 version of Title IX. The 2024 revisions were then overturned by courts, and nationally, the 2020 version stands. As a result, 2020 Title IX rules remain in effect. Staff training in the Richmond School District has continued under the 2020 rules, and they all continue to be valid and current. Our policies that guide non-discrimination, such as policy 2266, was adopted on September 21st, 2020, revised and readopted on October 24th, 2022, in accordance with Title IX 2020. Policy 2260 was adopted on September 18th, 2023, in its latest version. Wisconsin Statute 118.13 prohibits discrimination based on a protected class. District practices regarding transgender students have not changed. Administration follows board policy and legal guidance. There are questions from the board?
Engelhardt?
You say you're following 2020 Title IX and 2020 Title IX has provisions for sex segregated spaces.
Not based on gender.
There you go.
The lawyer just confirmed that there is, so.
As I stated, when we talked about the 2024 revision, state law was already in place that provided those protections in the 7th Circuit Court.
Oh, my God.
So you're following the 7th Circuit Court, not the Title IX.
We are following Title IX as written by federal law.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's meant to protect women
Any other
and
questions?
girls. And you're a woman. She's not.
Maybe not.
She's not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Any board members, need a quick recess? Or keep going, it's going to be another hour. I'm just looking to the members. Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute recess, and we'll reconvene.
Okay. Recess at the moment. I have a
We
viewer
can only
limit.
have so many viewers.
Get more subscribers to get more viewers, and it's gonna go live.
I tried.
Sorry for everyone that gets booted. It's not you, it's me. I have a very small channel. Come to find out.
Yeah, they're just choosing to follow.
Like I said, I'm not a
That's
large
all.
YouTuber.
Oh, yeah. And he pulled up all Democrat judges and shit. He's a
Well,
fun ball.
even stuff that's like, that they could, you know, like, literally
Doing my
like
best.
appeals, like, why are we calling it? Yeah, you know, like, and it's a mandate, it's not. When it's a
Let's pan the
mandate.
camera.
A little,
See ya.
sorry.
Took a little bathroom break. Lots of people.
All right. You good?
No, I tripped.
All right.
Board members ready to vote. Thank you for subscribing. Helps build the viewer count to have more live current viewers.
I was just gonna offer it to it so it gets read.
You'll have probably a better chance than I would.
Yeah.
Give us everyone
Yeah.
So pan here again.
I just wanna make sure somebody.
I'm sure Ben maybe wants to have a little private conversation. Be back to room.
Yeah, but they're making all that. Look, I'm making my daughter.
I'm not sure how long this recess will go for. Appreciate it. Yeah, sorry I can't have a larger live viewer concurrent due to my low subscriber count. Nobody's in the front rows. The school district sectioned it off for some reason. I'm going to guess safety. However, I don't really think that would be a legitimate stance, but that's my guess. We got a packed room. Individuals even standing the far back. We're in recess right now. This will go until about 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Fun fact, I ran for school board just last year. I did not win that.
I said it'd be an hour. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I want to shake.
We'll see. I could run again. I could. Had about almost 2,000 votes.
Good to see you. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Oh, you're okay, man.
Good to see you.
You're in the late days.
No worries.
I like the shirt.
You're kind of out of your element, but you.
I got a bunch of cameras.
I know we're in a
I don't know.
You're ready for food.
Tom Tiffany's.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got endorsed by President
I
Trump.
saw that.
Are you the one running for Congress?
Yeah.
Oh, nice to meet you, Alfonso.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, we can get them all.
It's a Spanish name, and it's eventually it's a weird one.
I've seen your flyer.
You came from far.
No, it's just me.
This individual's running for Congress in Wisconsin, Alfonso.
Yeah.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Tina.
Northern Wisconsin. I know it's western, but it's still northern Wisconsin.
So anything you want to say for a live stream? Like
Yeah.
what you're doing, who you are?
I'm Michael Alfonso. I'm running for Congress in the 7th, and it's very clear that Congress needs to fix this problem immediately, if not yesterday. That's all I have to say about it.
And thank you. Thank you for running for Congress.
Yeah, thanks for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's yeah. Nice to meet you. When I get in, it's trying.
I know you're staying strong. We only had like 2 over there. We're getting them in. We'll get Christy out.
Reminder to subscribe. I'm on a viewer limit. So the only issue I'm having is a viewer limit due to a low subscriber count. So it's kind of but it's working. Yeah. Once it posts, it'll increase the views.
Ben, when you do that reading thing, you're just gonna stand up.
Okay.
Back you up.
They're gonna try to call you out of order. We can't.
Ben, the chat says you're doing an awesome job. I got another chat that said, let's see. Yeah, it says, please tell Ben he's doing an awesome job.
I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm gonna do it.
I mean, can't I just stand up and start reading?
I gotta read Tom's.
The worst they can do is remove me and stand up and just start reading.
Looks like comments. I'm looking for that comment.
I got a booming voice.
So there's Alfonso for Congress right there. He's in our Richmond, Wisconsin school board meeting.
I mean, because if they shut you down, they try to close out, stand up and read.
Maybe I should just call on you to read.
Yeah, if you're allowed to call on me, I can read it. But I mean,
They don't
shit,
allow
they
me
let
to
you
do
do much.
anything,
Yeah,
but I
they
can do it.
didn't even let you talk. I appreciate you, Ben. How's it coming?
It's going good.
Yeah,
I had to get a new cable for this microphone. I was scared that it wasn't going to work, but I checked it out. I got some good shots.
Pick it up?
Yeah, it's picking up.
Chat reminder to subscribe. Builds the viewer count. We can get more live concurrent viewers. I will post this stream so we can share. Get more viewers on it.
We used to do choir and band concerts here. I never thought we'd be doing court hearings here.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that there used to be you're a previous high school student?
I am a previous, yes. I was
Okay. They can film. They can live stream this board meeting, but they choose not to. So we have to do something about it.
We're fixing to.
Yeah. So it looks like we're still in recess.
We definitely had a good crowd of we the people speaking up tonight.
Yeah. It's not over. This is just getting started.
This is not
We
over.
haven't even reached public comment.
Oh my God.
Wait till we get to public comment. That's
I'm
when it's
gonna
going to get real
need
spicy.
a drink with everybody after this one.
Yeah.
Whether it's coffee or
Coffee, soda, or an
yeah,
actual.
whatever
Yeah.
you want. But it's got to be something.
Yep. Alfonso for Congress, guys. We got the winner for Congress here. I've already seen his flyer in the mail. That individual right there. That's cool. How are they able to decide not to stream? Great question. I don't know. It's on their Facebook page. They just choose not to. They even said it. They said, we're not going to stream. Up in that window there, they stream orchestra concerts. They even have a YouTube channel with about 9,000 subscribers, so they wouldn't have a viewer count like me. So they'd have no problem. But they're choosing not to stream this. When is the vote for people that are on the school board? April 7th. So we have Christy Westland, which is right over here, is who you can vote for the next school board member. So she can replace one of the 3 current board members.
I'm a local resident. I'm going to do everything I can.
That's her husband right there, next to her. I just wanted to chat what discussions have been had about
That's right.
keeping restrictions.
So the fact that my tax dollars go to this hot dog and pony show is insane.
Yeah, I was wondering about why the good stream isn't going to. That's frustrating. What help with technical issues? Yeah. Well, people are frustrated. They want to talk. Is what it is.
Interpret the laws against us. Agreed.
Well, might be a long recess. You can still enter the auditorium. Doors wide open. We can zoom in right there. Door is open. High school auditorium, Richmond, Wisconsin. Door is open.
YouTube did?
Please subscribe to the channel. Builds alive current viewers.
Well, the whole count would tell you that they would just like put the switch up there. Yeah, God is where he literally has. Now you
We got a timer that's put on here. says 3 minutes, but they haven't started it. It's a video they're going to play perhaps. Oh, there's the other school board member finally joining in on Zoom, by the way. She's been a board member for many years now. How long will it go? I am just waiting for my husband. This will go to like 8:30 p.m. And honestly, this recess wasn't even in the agenda items, so we might go to 9 p.m. is going to be my assumption. So you got plenty of time to get here and partake. Yeah, exactly. So she can zoom in on this giant board here, but they can't live stream the meeting. Exactly. And she's always kind of zoomed in. Oh, I know. Those two do need to go. Especially, Brian Chafer. Yeah. Yeah. Ben Engelhardt here talking to some individuals.
Have been referred to, and I don't think that it's going to go the way people are hoping.
It's not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Who are you with?
Myself.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Just a guy that lives in this town that cares.
School board is coming out. There's only one school board member.
Thank you for your work.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks.
In how many seconds?
What else? Well, I suppose I'll take a little walk up here. Just going to kind of plant camera here. Go back to my spot once it starts. I think they're getting about ready. Looks like all the members are having a seat. So I think this will be starting momentarily. Lizzie, I'm not
We have a board member
replying to that.
Marilyn Durst.
Yep. She's zooming in, of course. She's late to the meeting, of course, too.
She's never been to one.
I mean, that should tell you everything of, like, especially who to vote out, you know.
She can't even show up.
If you're kicked out of the stream, it's because of the low subscriber count. YouTube has rules, not mine, their rules, unfortunately. Reconvening time.
If you can take your seats, please. Thank you.
I don't use it.
While this information went out to everyone with the board packet and it was in the back of the room, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I'm just gonna summarize again. Public comment, again, the purpose of public comment period is to give our community an opportunity to provide input directly to the school board for issues, of course, the issues regarding pupil non-discrimination, district facility use, and to give direct input to the school board. Also, to fulfill this permits, comments must be directed to the school board. Public comment is not a time for citizens to speak to the community or to the audience. Written request to speak, individuals who wanted to speak during this comment session, you were to register your intentions at the beginning of the meeting upon arriving, and those permitted to speak will be limited to, as you know, district residents, with preference given to staff, students, and parents. Speakers must be recognized. I will be calling speakers to the microphone. I'll be stacking it so we can speed this up, and we'll be naming the person that's going to be up. The second one will be on deck, and we'll keep alternating so that we aren't spending time having people running up and down the aisle and wasting time. Again, to be recognized by me at that time and when you're ready to speak. The time limits as were set out in the special meeting was that this would be held for 60 minutes total. The time limit is necessary, again, in order for the school board, so we are able to conduct business during the meeting in an orderly, efficient, and timely manner. Each speaker is permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes in total. You'll be given a 30-second warning, and then when the 3 minutes is up. One speaker may not give your time to another speaker, and any person who does not get a chance to speak is encouraged to submit written comments to the school board following this meeting. Cumulative presentations, we just encourage you to avoid repeating comments that other speakers have made. It's not helpful, and it deprives other individuals the opportunity to speak. We only have so much time, and it looks to be there's more people listed than we have time for. General rules, as a reminder, speakers may not engage in the following conduct and may be ruled out of order to speak during public comment. These rules, speakers may not discuss or disclose any private educational data on any current or former student. The only exception is that a parent who is speaking may choose to disclose or discuss private educational data on his or her own child. Speakers may not make allegations, charges, or complaints against any specific or identifiable student or employee. If a person wishes to make an allegation or file a charge or complaint against a student or employee, they should make that allegation, charge, or complaint to the superintendent in writing or in private meeting, or another individual designated in the district policy to receive the complaint. Speakers may not make personal attacks against others, including but not limited to any student, parent, community member, employee, or school board member. Speakers may not make comments that are defamatory or that would violate federal or state law, including laws protecting the privacy and rights of an individual. Members of the public may not engage in conduct that disrupts any part of the school board meeting or that otherwise impedes the school board's ability to conduct its business in an orderly and efficient manner. Speakers may not make comments or gestures that are threatening, profane, lewd, vulgar, obscene, harassing, or abusive. So with that, I have Ella.
Mr. President? Yes. Point of order, I'm seeking to recognize to make a motion.
What is your motion?
I'd like to extend the talking time.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you get that
So
in your
that is,
text?
So that is a motion to extend the public comment time. Do we have a second?
Come on, girls,
Come
fine.
on.
Girls here.
No, girl, guys on the board.
You guys are getting voted out. You might as well let everybody talk.
I second it.
By an hour.
Yep, right here.
Just have to go to viewer.
That's the whole point of this meeting, is that
We have a motion. We have a motion.
Why are you
We have
on
a
your
second. We have a motion and a second to extend the comment period by 1 extra hour, which is going to be 2 hours total. Any other discussion? None heard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You're still getting voted out.
Motion carries. The first speaker is Ella. If you would take the closest microphone, we have Ella, it's one of our students. So next person on deck is Jessica Turner, if she wants to go right this mic. And I'm going to go ahead and list the next two so we get Next one will be Gabby. And the next individual will be Roxanne Jorston. So we should have two on deck on each side, or two on each side ready to go. All right, Ella.
Hello, my name is Ella Fry, and I'm a junior at Richmond High School. I'm honestly really nervous to be standing here tonight. I never thought I'd have to speak at a school board meeting about something like this. I'm here because I'm scared and I don't know what else to do. When I first found out that my biological boy was using the girls' bathroom, I felt uncomfortable, then I felt anxious, and then embarrassed. And now I mostly just feel fear. That fear is so strong that most days I don't use the bathroom at school anymore. I hold it in all day until I get home. I know that's not healthy. I know it could cause problems like infections, and that scares me too. But I feel like I have no other choice. The office did tell me I could ask for a single stall bathroom pass, but even that is really stressful. I feel nervous walking into the office and asking for it. I feel worried and that people are judging or thinking I'm causing problems. It makes me feel singled out and embarrassed just for wanting privacy. There are also things girls go through physically that boys can't. There are certain times in the month when girls genuinely need to use the bathroom more than often. That is just a part of being female. Having to manage that while also worried about a boy being in the bathroom is humiliating and stressful in a way that is really hard to explain unless you are a girl. I am 16, I'm a junior, I'm older, and this is still really overwhelming for me. I keep thinking about professional girls in the underclassmen. I've talked to younger girls who are terrified to use the bathroom. Some of them are even getting bullied or made fun of because they feel uncomfortable. That is not fair, and it really hurts to see the school not stepping in to stop that. This is also difficult for me because of my faith. I believe God created man and woman differently and intentionally. I'm also an athlete. I love sports. I work really hard, and I worry about what these policies could mean for girls' sports safety in the future. But honestly, the biggest thing I want to say tonight is this. Girls should not have to stand in front of the adults and beg to feel safe at school. That should already be guaranteed.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Not put in situations where we feel scared, embarrassed, or ignored. I'm asking you, please listen to the girls in this district. Please protect our privacy, our safety, and our dignity, because right now, a lot of us feel like we are being forgotten. Thank you.
Jessica.
My name is Jessica Turner. I am a student in the high school. I actually have 6 students throughout the district. I think it's safe to say that we, the parents of the children in the New Richmond School District, are here tonight because our repeated concerns have been ignored, and families are losing trust in the board's leadership. We have showed up to meetings, written emails, and have asked questions, and we have been met with silence, deflection, and policy language instead of leadership. Tonight, I am here to speak for the girls in our high school and for all of our daughters who are paying attention to what the adults in the room choose to protect. This is not about hate. This is not about bullying. This is about boundaries, privacy, and dignity. Girls deserve spaces that are reserved for girls. Those spaces exist for a reason. Teenage girls are vulnerable. They are navigating puberty, body image, and social pressure. The answer to their discomfort never should be, you need to move or you need to adjust. My daughter had the courage to say that she was uncomfortable while using the girls' bathroom with a boy in there. That took bravery. That should have been respected. Instead, she was told that if she felt uncomfortable, she should use a single stall bathroom. Why is this burden placed on our girls who are simply trying to use the space that has always been designed for them? Why are we teaching girls that when they express discomfort, they are the ones who need to move, adjust, or make themselves smaller? If a student needs accommodations, that is exactly what private single stall restrooms are for. Those spaces exist to provide privacy and dignity for anyone who needs them. But by telling girls your discomfort is convenient, so you need to move is the wrong message. We should be teaching our children that it is okay to speak up, that their boundaries matter, that they will not be punished for being honest and uncomfortable. Right now, the message being sent is the opposite. Be quiet, adapt, and carry the emotional burden so adults have to make the hard decision. That's not okay with me. Not as a parent, not as a woman, and not as someone raising daughters. Who deserve to feel safe without having to apologize for it. Leadership is about drawing lines when it's uncomfortable. Leadership is about standing up for the most vulnerable students in care. That includes teenage girls. Deal with this now so our doctors don't have to in 20 years.
If you would please, I have Roxanne Jorsted. On deck is Gabby and Chad Schwenke and Carrie Kittle. Those are the next three people on deck. Roxanne?
I stand here asking, who decided this was okay? Who is responsible for allowing a male-born student in the ladies' restroom and locker room? As a community, we need to fix this. How do we build trust and respect when trust was abused? No notification or input was sought from parents. Power has been misused in our world, our state, our county, our community, our schools. It is time for true leaders to stand for moral values. When you have a force trying to turn creation against the creator through gender, economy, science, faith, fake news, you get division. And here we are, divided, asking for sanity. Today's overreaching wokeism must stop. You have a single stall bathroom option here. However, the way it is being implemented at our schools supports child grooming. God's children. Your government, your healthcare system, your pharmaceutical systems, your toxic food systems, television, and many elements of society, which includes education, that is pushing grooming of children and choose who you want to be. Google says you can pick from 72 genders. Who embraces this garbage? Unfortunately, messing with DNA in our world is real. And these are crimes against humanity that will not go unpunished. Satan's rainbow is 6 colors. God's rainbow is 7. You are a role model for our children. I call on the school board and administration to find common ground through moral values. To the school's corporate council and those defending ideology, extremism, depriving women of their dignity, safety, and well-being. It has no place in God's republic or our country.
Next, we have Gabby and Chad to be on decorating, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabby, and I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm a woman at Richmond High School who uses the women's bathroom, and I ask that you hear my perspective. As a woman, I am not afraid to use the bathroom with someone who is transgender. While fear around violence in bathrooms is totally valid, potential worries about what could happen in the bathroom are misplaced. Trans people are not scary or pedophiles. They are our community members. And in this case, a child who, like anyone else, just wants to use the bathroom. Thank you.
Carrie Hill. And next on deck is going to be Carter. Over here. Carter here, Carrie here. Carrie here.
First,
We can hear you.
is this okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much. First of all, I want to thank the board for having this opportunity for everybody to be heard. I think it shows a lot of patience and courtesy in what's a pretty tough environment. I just have some observation that board members are chosen typically in nonpartisan races, and most of them continue that nonpartisanship, but they all have to follow state and local law. And I was really happy to hear the information about what the dangers of potential lawsuits could do to the financial footing of the district. I'm assuming, I want everybody to think about the big picture regarding the school district of Richmond. We have excellent facilities and programs. Our boards have done a good job managing the budget despite years of state funding not keeping pace with inflation. I'm assuming that everyone here, including the school board, wants what's best for students. That won't happen if the conversation continues to mirror angry, hateful, and threatening conversation that's been going on social media. I've attended a lot of school board and other public meetings over the years. The best solutions never come from increasing the volume or resorting to personal attacks. I spent 32 years teaching young people in Amory and Richmond. The students I knew were resilient and placed a high value on fairness. If we cooperate to find the best possible resolution to the current issue, they will accept it, move forward, and continue a normal school year. Isn't that what we all should want?
Next we have Carter, and then we have Brittany, and read the writing of McKenna. McDown, maybe? Go ahead, Carter.
Hi, my name is Carter, and I'm a senior at New Richmond High School. I ask that as each of you are contemplating different views tonight, please recall that the core of this issue is school policy and transparency, not transgender validity. In the past week, many LGBTQ students and transgender students especially felt more isolated and targeted than ever, with hate spreading across social media and school grounds, framing the identities of teenagers discovering who they are as a threat to safety. There is already extensive evidence of how our transgender friends and family are facing barriers, exclusion, and stigmatization in everyday life, and some people here are choosing to intensify this. Please remember that we all value safety, respect, and a supportive school environment. Thank you.
Tom Wolf. And next on deck will be Josie. Student Josie.
Yeah, my name is Tom Wolf. I'm a 33-year resident of the Richmond School District. I've had 4 kids and 4 grandkids that have graduated from the Richmond School District. So I had pre-written some notes here. I think some of this may have been covered even by the attorney and whatnot, but I'm going to follow my end. In 1972, President Richard Nixon signed Title IX into law. There's no doubt if he knew what Title IX was today, he would have never signed it in 1972. There's no mention about transgender individuals or gender identity, probably because it didn't exist back then. Actually, I was a sophomore in high school in 1972, and I don't recall anything even remotely close to that. Title IX was passed to prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex in programs receiving federal funding, focusing on ensuring equal opportunity for women and girls. Since then, it has been gutted by greedy attorneys, woke politicians, and incompetent doctors and therapists. It no longer protects women and girls. Today, it actually discriminates against them. It is completely broken. Last year, the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights founded the Denver Public School District in violation of Title IX for converting a girls' restroom to an all-gender facility by allowing males into the facility. They now are in jeopardy of losing tens of millions of dollars in federal funding. The only reason they haven't is because that money was already allocated. But next year it could be different. Last week in New York, a 22-year-old woman won a $2 million lawsuit against her doctors and therapists. She sued them for medical malpractice after they cut off her breast when she was 16, after telling her she could become a boy. She won the first ever lawsuit against the doctors who did this to her. I think that's going to open a whole can of worms. Another young lady who is now 21 years old is suing her doctors and therapists. She said, quote, "We were lied to by doctors, nurses, and therapists when we were vulnerable and confused children. They did irreversible harm to our bodies and our minds, making a mockery of the medical profession. It should be held accountable for sacrificing us in service to radical transgender ideology. I will probably never stop needing physical and mental health because of what they have done to me." I had a couple more paragraphs, but.
You said you got 30 seconds, Ted.
30 seconds, keep going.
Go ahead.
The interpretation of sex under Title IX is still being contested by left-wing groups. Under the Trump administration, several court rulings and executive actions have attempted to restore sanity to Title IX by limiting the interpretation to biological sex as it was originally intended. So, does our Board of Education want to uphold a totally broken and gutted law with the threat of losing millions of dollars in federal funding, or do you want to stand up for what is right for our kids in our schools?
We have Josie next. We have Sarah Shore, I believe it is, on deck,
Okay, so
as well
I'm gonna
as
switch over to X.
Josie.
Good evening. My name is Josie Went, and I'm a sophomore at Richmond High School. I'm the oldest of 4 girls in my family, and I'm also an athlete. And I'm here today to share my concern as a student, an athlete, and an older sister. The thought of a biological male in the women's bathroom and locker room is frightening to me. The bathroom in the locker room is a very private place for me to be able to feel safe without without the fear of a male entering. It's a very vulnerable space, and girls of this age especially have a hard enough time changing in front of their peers or teammates. I realize that the school board must operate under the law and that this change would have to be made under a higher level. But now what needs to be discussed and addressed is what can be done right now to protect the safety and privacy of hundreds of students, as well as the safety of the students that identify as a gender other than their biological one. According to the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, 43% of women experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime. Approximately 1 in 5 women in the U.S. reported completed or attempted rape at some point in their life. The majority of these female victims first experienced such victimization early in life, with an 81% reporting that it first occurred prior to the age of 25. And among these female victims, 43% reported that it first occurred prior to the age. It's easy to talk about shared vulnerable spaces until an incident occurs. How will you monitor which men get to use the girls' bathroom? And do you have a way to say no to the ones that have the wrong motives for wanting to enter my private space? Once biological men can go into the women's areas designated for privacy, that space is no longer a risk-free environment. This stage of life is hard enough already. Outside of the privacy and potential safety violations, the burden should not be shouldered by the majority. This is not meant to just mean those students that identify outside of their biological gender, but it is not feasible for all of those students who are uncomfortable with your policy to use the single-stall bathroom in the nurse's office. There is already barely enough time to use the bathroom in between classes, and it would be even more difficult for the large number of students that are uneasy with these allowances to use the restroom without being tardy or disrupting class time. We've heard passionate opinions about what is right and what is wrong, but I would like to know the options moving forward that don't result in legal ramifications for our school, that maintain a sense of modesty and decency for all students, regardless of which anatomy they have. I would like you to present viable options soon to the families of New Richmond that would allow me, my classmates, and eventually my younger sisters to feel safe in these spaces designed for privacy. Thank you.
Is that right? Is that Sarah? That's right. Okay, again, Heather Bruner, if you want to take the microphone over here and get in there for the next presentation. Go ahead.
different genders. They are not the same, they are separate. Morality means principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong. I am bold in my standpoint against boys being in girls' restrooms. Everyone has a common morality. Everyone knows it is wrong to murder, and everyone knows it is wrong to steal. There is a common morality that has already been set. Girls aren't allowed in boys' restrooms, and boys don't belong in girls' restrooms. This separation.
Keep going, young man.
This separation has existed from the start. It is the state's and the school's responsibility to keep children safe at school. Parents entrust you with their kids. There has been accounts of women and girls being raped inside restrooms. My sister is scared to change in the locker room.
I also believe like
these things only shower this topic with doubt, confusion, and a very, very dim light. I believe we all agree that we are one nation under God. Hebrews 13:8 says, He is the same today, yesterday, and forever. This should be our standard. This should be a voice of reason. Thank you.
Beth Wood, Maya
You can't give away your time.
You can't give away your time. Alex, it'd be Maya, Alex. On deck, and is it Wanda Rivera? On deck over here.
Good evening. My name is Maya Ajwa, and I'm a junior at Richmond High School. The way that this problem has been dealt with has given me nothing but embarrassment and a loss of hope for change. Today, I want to talk about the issue that affects many students' sense of comfort and safety at school: biological boys using the girls' restroom. Bathrooms are a private place. They are places where people are expected to feel safe, relaxed, not worried on who might walk in on them. For many girls, the girls' bathroom is one of the few places and at the school where they can have privacy. When boys use that space, even if it's meant as a joke or a convenience, it can make girls feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or disrespected. This isn't about hating anyone or trying to be unfair, it's about boundaries. Schools have separate bathrooms for a reason: to respect privacy and make sure everyone feels secure. When those boundaries are ignored, it can cause stress, fear, and confusion, especially for the younger students. Everyone deserves to feel safe at school. That includes the girls who want privacy, and the boys also deserve clear rules and appropriate spaces. The solution isn't chaos or blaming each other, it's respect. Respect for rules, respect for personal space, and respect for how our actions affect others. What might seem harmless to one person can feel invasive or unsafe to someone else. Many girls feel uncomfortable speaking up in the moment, which makes the problem even harder to address. Schools have separate bathrooms for a reason. These rules exist to protect personal boundaries and help everyone feel secure. When girls are speaking up about this issue, we get told to use a different bathroom. How do you think this makes us girls feel? When those boundaries are ignored, it sends a message that some people's comfort doesn't matter. That can lead to anxiety, loss of trust, and a feeling that the school is not a safe place. It's also important to recognize that respect goes both ways. Boys deserve their own private spaces too, just as girls do. Clear rules help everyone know what's expected to prevent misunderstandings or conflicts. When rules are followed, school becomes a more respectful environment for all students. In the end, this issue comes down to empathy and respect. We all want to feel safe at school. We all want our boundaries to be respected. By thinking about how the choices affect others, and by following rules designed to protect everyone, we can help create a school environment where everyone feels valued and secure. Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion.
Hello, my name is Alex Burchell, and I'm speaking for not only myself, but for my peers who don't feel safe enough to participate as well. I would like to first thank you all for the opportunity to speak, and secondly, I would like to add how extremely disappointed and disgusted I am in my community to allow such bullying, harassment, hate, and bigotry to take place on school grounds. As a woman at New Richmond High School who uses the women's bathroom, I ask that you hear my perspective. I am not uncomfortable or afraid to use the bathroom with someone who is transgender.
Oh my God.
The only thing more powerful than hate is love. Thank you.
Robert, is it Robert Ventura? Would be next on deck at this. And Juan.
Hello, my name is Juan Rivera. I go by Johnny. So good evening, and first and foremost, I am a father of 2 children in the school district. This is our first year here in New Richmond. In the beginning, things seemed smooth until now. When I first heard that students were planning a protest, I wanted to understand why. My son called me and explained that it was regarding boys being allowed to use the girls' restroom. When I heard that, my heart dropped. I was told that as long as someone identifies as a gender, they are allowed to use the restroom. To me, this is not complicated. There are 2 genders. You are born with one, and that reality does not change. God created male and female, both beautifully and distinctively. and both deserve respect as they were created. This is not meant to attack or shame children who identify as transgender. My heart truly goes out to them. What concerns me is the effect that has on the other children who do know who they are and are now being made uncomfortable or fearful in spaces that should feel safe. A biological male in a female restroom or locker room creates confusion and distress, and I want you to know that this has placed real fear in my own child. I'm going to share a personal text message between me and my daughter. She tells me, "Can I skip gym?" I said, "Why?" "I don't want any boys walking in there while I'm changing." I said, "Are they doing that right now?" She goes, "No, I'm in 9th hour, but I have gym in 10th. I said, "Yes, that's fine. Who do I contact? The office?" She puts yes. Now, when I hear this from my daughter, daddy comes. I'm here to protect my child. I'm here to protect my baby. Now, this should not be a complicated issue. It does not require extreme measures or ideology. It requires common sense and the protection of boundaries. Those children who are struggling with identity. They are not mistakes. They are not in the wrong body. They need wisdom, loving support, and guidance, not reinforcement of confusion. Not prioritizing one group in a way that harms another. Please understand this clearly. I'm here to protect my children. There is no situation where my daughter will change in front of a biological male, whether at home, in public, or any school system. I expect the same here that exists everywhere else in society.
You have 30 seconds.
My voice will not go away. A father protects, and I will not stay silent while this continues. If these concerns are not taken seriously, families will leave the district. And it will start with my 2 children first. This is not said to confuse anyone, but is to resolve. Thank you.
Jamie on deck, students, and Trevor Swanson. Mr. Ventura, or is it Ventura?
Yes, sir, you got it. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Dominic Ventura. I come to you today in my personal capacity as a father and a resident of the district in Richmond. I carry with me a message from Congressional Representative Tom Tippett. I want you to know that he would normally be here today, but he is the father of 3 daughters, and as a member of Congress representing New Richmond here in the 7th Congressional District, he must unfortunately be in DC to represent us for votes in Congress. I want you to know, as his constituent, he is urging the school district of New Richmond to reverse this policy. Our daughters should feel safe and treated with dignity here in Wisconsin. We must uphold the original intent of Title IX, which was created to protect equal opportunity for women and girls. Yet some are now claiming that Title IX requires schools to prioritize gender identity instead of biological sex. That is simply not true. Federal leadership under President Donald Trump has made it clear that these policies will not be tolerated, including suing school districts that fail to protect female-only spaces. The administration has already taken action against 5 Virginia school districts for allowing students to access sex-segregated facilities based on subjective gender ideology, which they are saying violates the sex-based protections of Title IX. We do not want New Richmond to end up in the same situation. We simply want common sense restored and female students protected. Thank you for allowing me to speak on his behalf. I hope the concerns of parents, students, and Congressman Tiffany are heard loud and clear, that the New Richmond School District should do what is right and reverse this policy immediately, because it does not reflect Wisconsin values. Thank you. This is from Tom Tiffany. I would like to point out that each member of the board here that stands here as a father of a daughter should be ashamed of themselves. And I look forward to organizing the community against you as you come up to your next election. Thank you for your time.
Hey, I'm a senior at the high school. Been going here for 4 years, 3 years in middle school, and so on. So until the last school board meeting, I never really heard about the whole issue of transgender people in the bathrooms. Why is this coming up now? That's my question. This has been happening for 4 years, and there hasn't been a complaint about it. I have not heard anything about transgender students in the bathrooms for 4 years. I have friends who are transgender who use the bathroom, and I've had no complaints filed against them for 4 years. To make the assumption that transgender students would engage in inappropriate behavior in the bathrooms is a prejudice that does not deserve to be put against a child. No issues with transgender students in the bathroom so far. And if there are, they should be dealt with on an individual basis like they would be with a cisgender student in their bathroom.
Cisgender.
And on the topic of legislating morality, which I hope we are not doing because we are a nation built with religious values, but not on religious law, we remember, I'll give you a little history lesson, in the 1800s, they used this idea called the sons of Ham. It's in Genesis, you can look it up. They said that the sons of Ham, whose descendants moved to Africa, were less smart than the other sons of Abraham, who moved to other parts of the globe.
Thought we weren't religious.
That was in the Bible, and they used that to justify slavery. They used that to justify the fact that they were turning people into slaves, that they were denying them their rights. So while the Bible may be infallible, your interpretation of it is not. Thank you.
And then, is it Junior Childs or something like that? Yeah. Go ahead.
Good evening, my name is Trevor Swanson, and I am a parent of several students in this district. I want to respectfully urge the board not to continue a policy allowing access to bathrooms and locker rooms based on any distinction beyond biological sex, because the legal, medical, and regulatory landscape remains unstable, politically driven, and increasingly subject to reversal, creating unnecessary risk for students and the district. First, Title IX has not changed in any relevant way since 1972. It prohibits sex discrimination, but explicitly allows schools to maintain separate bathrooms and locker rooms for the sexes. What has changed repeatedly are federal agency interpretations, expanding under one administration, retracting under another, and expanding again, often without congressional action, and most recently, they are being retracted. Courts have not resolved this uncertainty. Second, the broader legal environment surrounding gender-related decisions for minors is also shifting. Recently, a New York jury returned a multi-million-dollar verdict in favor of a young woman who underwent irreversible transition-related mutilation surgery as a minor and later chose to live as she was born. The case turned on failures of standards of care and informed consent. Regardless of one's views, it shows that courts are increasingly willing to scrutinize irreversible decisions related to minors, even if those decisions were previously misrepresented as settled or unquestionable. In parallel, professional medical guidance is evolving. While there is not a uniform consensus, major medical organizations, including orthopedic surgical associations, have publicly urged greater caution and delayed irreversible transition-related mutilation surgeries for minors, citing limited long-term evidence and the permanent detrimental effects they have on children and young adults. That signals that what was once treated as settled practice is now openly debated. Third, at the state level, Wisconsin legislators continue to debate bills addressing sex-segregated facilities, parental rights, and protections for minors. While not all proposals have become law, their very existence reflects that public policy in this area is unsettled and contested, not resolved. Districts that lock themselves into permanent policies today may find those policies out of step with state law tomorrow. Finally, this board has two core duties: to protect children, including their privacy and intimate spaces, and to limit their legal liability for the district. Both duties counsel caution. The district can support students with dignity through less intrusive alternatives. I respectfully ask the board to choose an approach that protects all students while minimizing legal risk in an environment where the law, medical standards, and public policy are clearly still in flux and indeed returning to sanity. Please do not fall on the wrong side of that line.
Thank you. On deck, I have, is it Ace? Ace and Travis Cullen. And Hunter, you're right.
Before I begin, I would like, could you, instead of saying 30 seconds, just hold your hand up?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I would just like to begin with Luke 17, 1 through 2. Jesus said to his disciples, "Things that cause people to stumble are bound to come. But woe to anything through whom they come. It would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a milestone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble." The New Richmond School Board made headlines last week because administration and staff are reportedly allowing biological boys into girls' restrooms, leading to backlash from parents as well as our Congressman Tom Tiffany and Representative Rob Krybeck publicly condemning this utter insanity. It is truly incomprehensible that anyone mentally confused and unstable boys and girls' private restrooms, and second, to then double down on the insanity by requiring girls who express feeling justifiably victimized and traumatized by the sexual perverse inversion of reality to use a different individual restroom. The inability or refusal of those in authority to comprehend the situation and to make rational and logical decisions based in reality is the direct result of progressive ideology, placing their own warped desires and twisted version of morality above God's. Yes.
Amen.
These children, both boys and girls, are not to blame. They are victims of this perverse political ideology. The children who suffer from genital dysphoria, or however that's spelled, should not be encouraged to hate their own bodies, but should be counseled and corrected to love their bodies. But should be counseled and corrected to love their bodies. It is truly evil for adults in positions of authority to conduct these devastating experiments on our precious children, potentially leading to a lifetime of irreparable mental health and physical harm. As Jesus famously said, it would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. It's time for New Richmond residents to put an end to this perversion and insanity. And progressive policies are dangerous enough for adults, but are absolutely devastating for our children. We can't take that chance, and we must all do what we can to protect them by helping elect God-fearing Christian conservatives on our school board, but we can't do it alone. It will take every single Christian in New Richmond, Wisconsin, and the state who steps foot in church on Sunday to pray to also step foot in their town hall on Tuesday to vote. Let's elect proven Christian conservative Christy Westland, and let's make New Richmond.
Amen.
Ace and then Travis.
All right. Hi, my name is Ace, and I am the scary transgender that you all fear. I go by he pronouns. I'm a freshman at New Richmond High School, and personally, I don't think I'm something to be feared. I go into the female bathroom because I'm too scared to go into the men's. Because I fear that if I go into the men's bathroom, I will be physically assaulted for being a man. Being transgender is not a choice. Identifying that way is. You can say, yeah, I choose to go by he, him pronouns. But you, I don't know how to explain this. Being transgender is a feeling. I personally don't think I should be punished, so to speak, for a feeling. Also, I'd like to say that some of the things that have been said today are really hurtful to me and members of my community. Just in case you guys don't really realize how harmful this is, I'd like to quote some statistics. In 2025, 81% of transgender people considered suicide, and 41% committed it. I'm part of that 81%. I recently got hospitalized because my mental health got really, really bad. And it is because I have people like, I don't know, I don't want to point fingers, but just, I have people telling me that I was not correct for being myself and that I should go die for being who I am. And it got to the point where I almost did. And I just want to say that if you all want to protect children, go ahead. I implore that. Protest, talk at school board meetings, do this, do that, but do it with all children in mind, not just yours. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I have 5 children in this district. And I just wanted to say thank you for the time here tonight. This is the first school board meeting that I've been to. It's the only one that I felt like I needed to be here for. I'm not here to be popular. I'm not here to be comfortable. I am here because the children of this district deserve adults who will stand up and do what is right, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. We were told earlier tonight that case law has settled this question, that federal courts have spoken, and we must simply comply. But I want to ask every person in this room a simple question. Since when did a court ruling replace your conscience?
Amen.
There was a time in this country when the law said human beings could be property. There was a time when law said children could work in factories. There was a time when law said women could not vote. Every single one of those laws was wrong, and it took men and women of conviction, people of faith and courage to stand against them. We are not called to blind obedience to every ruling that comes down from the courtroom. We are called to protect children. Okay? This is a higher law. This is a law not written by judges, but by God himself. And no one can deny it. No one.
Amen.
Let me be plain about what we're discussing tonight. We are talking about whether biological males should be in restrooms and locker rooms with our daughters, spaces where girls are undressing, spaces where they are vulnerable, spaces that exist precisely because we have always understood that privacy and safety of children comes first. This is not complicated. Every parent in this room knows it, every mother knows it, every father knows it. You do not need a law degree to understand that our girls deserve privacy and protection. And yet we are told we must set aside common sense, set aside parental instinct, set aside biology itself because the court said so. I reject that, and you should reject it too. There is a saying that has proven true throughout history. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. We are living in the hard times that weak leadership has created. And I'm looking at there. Okay?
That's
weak
right.
leadership. Thank you, Ben. For too long, school boards across the state and this country have taken the path of least resistance. They've been afraid of lawsuits, afraid of headlines, afraid of being called names. And so they surrendered, not because it was right, but because it was easy. That can end here tonight. This board can choose to answer to the parents and children of this community. Yes, there may be legal challenges. Yes, there may be costs. But I ask you, what is the cost of doing nothing? Do you want to look mothers in the eyes? Okay? Do you see this room? Do you see the support behind this? Scripture tells us in Isaiah 1:17, learn to do what is right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. Our children are not political pawns. They are not social experiments. So I'm asking this board tonight, be the strong men who this moment demands. Both to protect privacy and safety of every child in this district. Both to uphold biological reality in our restrooms and locker rooms. Both to do the right thing, not to choose it. Because when your children and grandchildren ask you, where you stood, when it matters, and they will ask, you will be able to look them in the eye and say, I stood for you.
What the hell is
That's
that?
not making me feel safe.
Do we have Piper? On deck is Michelle Gross.
Sorry, chat. We're staying on YouTube. YouTube only. Sorry about the interference. Waiting on the next speaker.
Michelle Grubbs. Tim Holden.
Looks like several people there.
Right here, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. Tim Holden from Richmond here. And I'd just like to thank Mr. Engelhardt for standing up for what's right. Thank you for your moral fiber. Thank you, they're all grown. And early in counselors, when he was bringing up Title IX and talking about it, our father got up and left early and said, "I heard enough. I'm going to homeschool." And that's the truth. It was right there.
Yep.
What's the place of our daughters and our granddaughters? I have granddaughters. And I have grandchildren in western Wisconsin. And it just amazes me that our country's come to this point. And I would like to say to the transgender children here, I don't hate you. We're all God's creation.
You're Sir, you're out of order, please.
Hey.
Nothing offensive.
No, he's
Just-
not.
Just stay here.
They identified themselves. We're all God's creation. And that doesn't mean I agree with what the white folks have been superimposing on our children nationwide. And it's everywhere. And so I ask the board to stand up for what's right. And again, I thank Mr. Engelhardt for the backbone he has. And the rest of and we are all God's creation, and he offered us all the way out. And some of you heard John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So our Creator has offered us a way out through the Savior, Jesus Christ. Acts 4:12, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is no other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Jesus said in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come unto the Father but by me. Ephesians 2:8-9, for by grace you are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it's a gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this opportunity to bring glory to your Son.
Garrett Peterson and Lydia Melby on deck. Go ahead, sir.
I'm Eric Peterson. I'm a father of 2 children, young children in this district who stand to potentially be here for many more years. Regarding Title IX from 1972 and the Seventh Circuit finding in 2017, words mean what the author meant for them to mean, not what some activist judges claim they mean based on the political environment 45 years later. Also, judges don't write or make laws. They only give oftentimes bad opinions on the laws duly passed by the legislative and executive branches.
Yes.
I'm here to fight for our daughters, our sisters, and every young girl in the district who deserves safety, privacy, and respect in the most basic spaces, bathrooms and locker rooms. The madness of allowing boys in dresses to waltz into girls' facilities has got to stop. Right now, no more excuses, no more virtue signaling, No more hiding behind checklist policies that put our kids at risk. Biological reality does not bend. A boy in a dress is still a boy. Chromosomes, anatomy, strength, none of that changes with a wardrobe swap or pronoun preferences.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about spaces designed for girls where they can use the toilet, change, shower, and feel secure without the intrusion of male bodies. This is about hard facts. Our girls shouldn't have to undress in front of someone with male physiology just because a tiny minority demands it over science and biology. Privacy and the feeling of security in vulnerable spaces are not suggestions, they are rights, and you're stripping it away from half of our students to appease a tiny minority. How dare you? Your job is to protect all students, not sacrifice girls on the altar of leftist virtue signaling. If a boy feels uncomfortable in the boys' bathroom or locker room, he can be the one to use the single stall option. Board members, I challenge you, look at these parents in the eye. Look at these girls in this room. Are you willing to tell them that their safety is secondary, that their boundaries are negotiable? If you vote to allow this, you're complicit in every single violation of dignity and possibly worse that follows. Stand up for what's right, ban boys from girls' bathrooms and locker rooms, dresses or no dresses. Restore sanity, protect our kids, or step aside and let real leaders who actually have children in these schools and skin in the game take over.
Ryan, Sherry, on deck. Go ahead, Lydia.
Hello, my name is Lydia. First of all, I want to thank all of the school board members for being here, taking time out of your day, all of the staff who are all here. I see some police officers, all of the parents and students. The second thing I want to say is I'm very proud of all the queer students, all the trans students who have spoken up against grown adults who are attacking them just for being themselves. I think all the adults in this room need to have a reminder that these are children.
Yep,
we're
my
speaking
kids.
about.
My kids. My kids.
I understand.
You don't own my kids.
The bullying online.
Just use
over
your
children has been insane, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration. That a lot of the students here being targeted are not the cis students; they are the trans students.
Cis
They are
students
the
doesn't
queer
exist.
students. Another thing is, Ben, you have done a great job speaking out tonight, making sure that your opinion is known, but you've also disrespected the people who have been talking and you've been sitting on your phone. The last thing
Oh my
I want
God.
to say-
Oh my
The last thing I'm going to say is that there's a separation between church and school. I have all the respect for you guys who are using your religion and speaking up, but that's not the same as school. The law
Your
does not, the law
Point of
does
order.
not follow the Bible.
She shouldn't be talking about.
Just direct your comments to us.
Thank
The
you.
law does not follow the Bible, and I think that needs to be something that's remembered, even if you are religious. Follow the law, not what the public is attacking you to follow. It's the law. We, the taxpayers, are going to be harmed if you guys.
Girl, you pay taxes.
Again, I think doing what's best for all students. It's understandable when girls are uncomfortable, but there are other students, such as trans students, who are going to be attacked. And I think you guys need to protect everyone in this situation and think about everyone. Thank you.
Every time this speaks, this guy leaves notes if there's something.
Good, Ryan?
Yes, I'm Ryan Sherman,
That would
board representative for District 15 right here in Richmond. As an elected official myself, it takes a lot for me to stand at a podium or a mic
like this and tell another governing body how I believe an issue should be handled. I understand the pressure that you're under, and I generally believe that constituents should be heard rather than overridden and disregarded. However, there are moments when remaining silent is not responsible leadership. This is one of them. I want to begin by clearly separating what truth and fact are. A person's truth reflects how they feel about an issue or their perception of that issue. Those feelings may vary from person to person, and they may change. Facts do not. Facts are fixed, and the law is built on facts, not feelings. The relevant facts before this board are straightforward. First, the biological male is using a girls' locker room. Second, the school district is allowing this to occur. Third, students have expressed discomfort and concern about this arrangement. And fourth, biological sex is immutable. Beliefs or identity do not change biological reality. Those are not opinions. Those are not expressions of fear. They are factual conditions that exist today. Title IX permits sex-separated locker rooms for privacy and safety. But Title IX is not a one-directional entitlement. It is a balancing obligation. Protecting one student cannot require violating the privacy rights of others, and the board has legal responsibility to draw that line very clearly. Public education exists to prepare students for the real world. That is not a philosophical debate, it's a foundational purpose of the system. The real world operates on objective standards, definitions, and boundaries. When institutions abandon those in favor of accommodating feelings, they do not protect students, they mislead them. Wisconsin DPI and the governor are also misleading you.
Yes,
sir. If a student sincerely but incorrectly believes that they're the valedictorian of the school or the starting quarterback, would we not rewrite the rules to accommodate their beliefs? We would believe in it, we would explain reality, set the boundaries, and help them navigate it. This situation is no different. What concerns me most is not the single incident, it's the pattern it reflects. This board appears
You have 30 seconds.
to be reacting instead of leading. Policies are not shaped by fear of litigation, pressure from outside agencies, rather than intentional forward-looking governance. I urge this board to stop acting as reactionary firefighters and start acting as leaders. Establish clear, fact-based policies. If you do not agree with all of this, I will happily help Dominic find your life.
That's right. Don't forget it.
Next, we have Jessica Gatlin.
I thought it was just.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm back.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Jessica Gatlin on deck and Kaylee Kaler. Go ahead.
I want to first and foremost state that I am not here to place blame. I am here as a mom speaking up for all kids, one way or another, regardless of how I sway. What I am asking you that has not been put forward before you guys today is, have you guys done the statistics to the single stall bathrooms compared to the amount of females or males that are going to need that? Because my issue with this is it's still creating separation. You guys could have thought 12 steps ahead, as I was taught how to do. You have your plan B, you have your plan C, you have your plan D. You go forward with that. You always have a backup plan. And right now, what you're doing is, right now, for the last update that I had, there are about 40 girls deep in the high school for the single stall bathroom. So now what is that doing to their time learning in the classroom? And how is that going to affect them when it comes to being educated? I don't care. Your parents have the right to choose, but you guys stripped that, minus you, Ben, you guys stripped that of us. because we didn't even have the forefront of knowing that you guys were actively going for this. And now, mind you, I am proud of all of the kiddos that stood up tonight. And one of them is very directed into my kids' individual lives out of life circumstances. And I am very proud of them for standing up. I am not that small of a human being. I am proud of them. But what I am not proud of is that you guys didn't give us the damn right to know when we are going to be having to have sex ed talks with our very young children, or having to have the privacy talks, but now having to curb that because there is no longer privacy. From what I have understood, it is an isolated group of kids, and I don't want them to be isolated, but it is a smaller group of kids compared to, do the statistics. I want the numbers. What is the ratio for this single stall bathroom? You can clearly see there are a lot of parents that are not happy with this. What is the ratio? I don't want that. I don't want to have conversations with my children before they're old enough to understand, before they're cognitively capable of understanding it. Good night, everyone.
Do we have Jessica Gedman? Kaylee Cole. Artie, is it Dianastropoulos? Is that right? Yep. And on deck would be Chad Mostrom. Or to this microphone. Yes.
Hi, my name is Ari Dianastropoulos, for those of you who are wondering. I'm a parent within the New Richmond School District. I have a child in the high school, one in the middle school, and one in Westside Elementary. I want to express my support for the current policies that you guys have to support non-discrimination and gender inclusive bathroom usage. This has really appeared to be an emotional topic for many, including myself. Parents are worried about safety. My middle school daughter did come home and she asked me about this conversation and she said, I'm worried. And so I did what I do whenever my kids tell me I'm worried. I centered them on the facts. I said, how many times are you in the bathroom and people don't have their clothes on? Well, never. I centered them on some of the statistics that you guys have heard. Every major study shows that gender inclusive bathroom policies do not increase assault or safety incidents for girls. Not one. There haven't been documented incidents after these policies go into place that voyeurism, people peeping into these bathrooms, goes up. That isn't happening. But what has been documented, when schools restrict bathroom access, transgender students are the ones who are harmed. They face higher rates of bullying, harassment, and even physical assault. So I talked to her, and we talked about our goals, and we talked about our values. If our goal is safety, the evidence is clear. Inclusive policies protect all students, and exclusion puts some of them at risk. We don't have to choose between protecting girls and supporting transgender students. We don't. The evidence shows we can do both. Inclusive policies keep everyone safe, and they reflect the kind of community I want my kids growing up in. The other thing that happens, as a non-Christian liberal family in this district, my kids come home all the time. They come home and they tell me, I heard this at school. This doesn't match what I believe. Hey, they said this. And I look at them and I say, the world's full of people that think differently than us. But here in our family, this is what we believe. That's my responsibility. That's not your responsibility. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. No Chad. Billy Starkweather. And Trent Simonton is next.
How you doing? My name is Bill Carpenter. I'm pastor at Cornerstone Church. The fundamental question is, whose discomfort are we prioritizing, and what are the stakes? When we allow males in girls' locker rooms, we're asking girls to surrender their privacy and sense of safety in the most vulnerable moments. The discomfort a transgender student may feel using facilities matching their biological sex doesn't override the privacy rights of all girls who didn't choose that situation. We can show compassion without eliminating sex-based spaces and exist specifically to protect privacy and dignity. You may hear the objection that this will discriminate against transgender students. Providing sex-based facilities isn't discrimination, it's accommodation that respects everyone's needs. There's no difference in the, or safety, no evidence of safety issues. Well, the concern isn't just a documented incident. It's about the principle that girls deserve privacy from the opposite sex during changing, regardless of how that person identifies. You've heard that maybe we're transphobic. Protecting girls' privacy rights isn't about any animus towards anyone. It's about maintaining boundaries that serve important purposes. We're asking 100% of these girls to give up their privacy to accommodate a very small percentage of students. We can respect everyone's dignity without forcing girls to accept what makes them uncomfortable. And once we've established that self-identification grants access to opposite sex facilities, how do we enforce any boundaries? What's your policy when a girl feels unsafe? Do we tell her she's wrong to feel that way? Yeah. We're creating a situation where girls can't advocate for their own comfort without being labeled as bigots.
Yep.
Adolescence is already difficult. Girls are navigating body changes, self-consciousness, and vulnerability. Locker rooms exist as sex-separated spaces precisely because of these developmental realities. And we can acknowledge that some of these students experience gender dysphoria while also acknowledging that most girls aren't comfortable addressing around males. My question to you, because it seems like we're talking on both sides of our mouth, sex and gender, but we say one is important and one's not. We also say that, hey, we're following federal law, but we're also following Title IX, which is separate and different. What's your policy if you say we don't know students who are transgender going into the locker rooms, and then how are you not going to give that information out? Thank you.
Dwayne Thompson is on deck, and Trent.
All right. Hello, my name is Trent Simonton, and I have two kids attending Richmond High School. One boy and one girl. I have coached youth baseball in this community and sat on the board of the local volleyball club. I care deeply about the children in this community. I want to be clear that this issue to me is not political. It is not about being transphobic or about hate or a witch hunt. This is about comfortability for our children. It's about our children's feelings and being comfortable in the space that's supposed to be designated to them, their bathroom and their locker rooms. I can tell you that my daughter is not comfortable sharing the female bathroom with a male student, giving up her privacy and dignity. When this concern was brought up to the high school principal by my wife in November of 2025, we were told that if she was not comfortable with this, she could go to the office and use a single stall bathroom, and the office would provide her with a pass so she was not marked tardy in class. Let me tell you about my daughter. She is in the top 15% of her class. She takes her education and GPA extremely seriously because she knows this will help her get into the college that she wants and will directly affect the amount of scholarship money she may get to attend that college. She is scared to be tardy in class, and she does not want to miss anything that could affect her grades, nor does she want to disrupt the class. For this reason, she does not want to be displaced and have to walk further from her classes to go use a single stall bathroom in the office and to be late for class. Instead, she is being forced to share a female bathroom with a male student, making her anxious and uncomfortable to protect her education. That is not right. This is not what the purpose of Title IX was. Male parks use the male bathroom, female parks use the female bathroom. There is an alternative if you are a student that does not feel comfortable in your biological sex's bathroom. This is an example of what the single stall bathroom should be used for. Again, this should be the option for a select few, not an entire population of girls. It's common sense. This is common sense. Common sense does not displace an entire population of female students, asking them to use the few single stall bathrooms if they are uncomfortable sharing bathrooms with the opposite sex. Common sense does not make an entire population of females, students who don't want to share the bathroom with a male, risk being late to class, losing educational minutes by displacing them to a single stall bathroom in the office that was never made for them. Stop telling our daughters, if you don't like it, use a single stall. That is not equality. That's displacement. We are being told by our district superintendent that all the area schools are following these same guidelines and rules. If that is true, let's be the first district in the area to make the change to what is right. And others will follow. I'm asking you to elect the board members to adopt a policy that protects our girls' privacy and handles accommodations respectfully, and to put this policy in writing. Let's roll the dice.
Randall Axel.
Thank you. I am extremely disappointed in this board's ability to communicate with the public. As a prior public servant for over a decade, I haven't seen such an unmitigated disaster. The moment that the school made the policy what it is now, they should have sent an email out to parents advising them of the policy. There was no need to identify that there was a transgender student or students that it was applying to.
So everyone knows we're restreaming on Moms of Liberty
Unless
on X.
parents are prepared to talk to our children and let them know what they're going to be seeing and dealing with at school. For that reason, I wouldn't get very comfortable in those chairs for very long. With this amateur small town BS, it is gonna see you out of here, and we're gonna have parents on the board that are gonna communicate and handle things like professionals would.
Pat Breslin. Right over here, fine. On the over is Christy Russell.
All right.
Hi, my name is Pat Breslin. I've got two daughters. One is that this issue is not complicated. It has been made complicated on purpose.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
The case everyone keeps hiding behind, Whitaker versus Kenosha Unified School District, is not a triumph of civil rights. It was a failure of judgment. Title IX was passed to protect girls, real biological girls, from discrimination, exposure, and from being forced to sacrifice privacy so adults could feel progressive. The law is explicit. Sex-separated bathrooms and locker rooms are allowed. The court did not interpret the law. It rewrote it. They took the word sex, which has meant biological sex for all of human history, and replaced it with identity. Congress didn't do that. Voters didn't do that. Parents didn't do that. 3 judges did. This is not law. This is power without consent. And let's talk about what the court ignored. Girls' privacy was called speculative. Their discomfort was brushed aside. Their right to say no was never even discussed. But the feelings of one student were treated as absolute, so absolute that every other student was expected to silently comply. That is not equality, that is coercion. This isn't about bathrooms, this isn't about bathrooms are stalls. This is about locker rooms, where girls change clothes, where bodies are exposed, where minors are vulnerable. High schools contain children, and they are also legal adults in some cases. So you're mixing minors with legal adults, forcing girls to undress in the presence of males, regardless of identity, crosses a line that should never have been crossed. There is no middle ground on bodily privacy. We are told single-user facilities are stigmatizing. That is nonsense. Privacy is not punishment. Accommodation is not discrimination, and protecting girls is not hatred.
Please try on deck, please how you try here. Yeah, on deck over to this microphone on the right, please.
Her left, you're right.
Hi, I'm Christy Westland. I'm a mom of two in the district, and I'm running for the Richmond School Board. I'm here to say what too many in the auditorium right now, and in the district in general, have been afraid to say out loud. Privacy is not discrimination, and girls are not collateral damage. Title IX was written to protect women and girls. You need to defend pretending it was meant to erase the very boundaries it was created to defend. Right now, our district does not have a clear written policy for restrooms and locker rooms. When there's no policy, the loudest voices win. The rules shift behind closed doors, and the students who feel vulnerable are told to just deal with it. That is not fairness, and it is not leadership. Adults need to be adults. Adults need to have courage for the kids. And what I'm saying is this: the kids have more courage than the adults. They're willing to walk out. They're willing to show up. They're willing to hold signs and say, this isn't right. Their ask is simple: decency and common sense. Protect our privacy. So here is the policy we're asking you to adopt in plain English, and I'm happy to hand it out if you would like. Girls' bathrooms and locker rooms are for biological females. Boys' bathrooms and locker rooms are for biological males. And if a trans-identifying student needs a different accommodation than that, that student can use one of the single-user private restrooms or changing options. There are several districts in Wisconsin that has adopted similar policy as proposed here, including Waukesha, New London, Elkhorn, Arrowhead, Germantown, and Cedarburg, to name a few.
Oh, look at that.
It's easy. You can and must protect every student's dignity without forcing girls to surrender theirs. End the burden shifting where girls are told to relocate, wait longer, and risk their health and their education just to feel safe. So I'll ask you plainly, will you protect the girls? Remember, they're watching. Because if you don't have the courage to protect our girls' privacy, you don't deserve to be on that stage.
Amen.
Nikki Driscoll, is she here? All right, Heidi.
With age, we are cursed with perspective. A lot of us in this room can relate to that curse. I learned that perspective many of us held about this district's ability
to protect our children is no longer reality. Last week, I discovered that this district has no bathroom policy at all, none. You are relying on unclear interpretations of case law, ignoring Title IX, and offer no straightforward guidance. But there's truth. Here's the truth. Without a clear policy, you place this district at legal risk from every side. This is a yes or no issue, so there will be no room to pick gray area. It's pretty clear tonight that this room is a bit divided, and it's not intentional, and I don't think it should have to be divided. If this board would have had put in place strong guidelines to begin with and communicated with the community to begin with, we wouldn't be sitting in a divided state that we are in today.
Yep.
I am not a transphobe. I don't care what their choice is, but what I do care is about my children. And until they're 18 years of age, I want to make sure that my children will be using a bathroom that is filled with the same sex. There's nothing wrong with it. It does not make me a bitch. It just makes me a mother. Mother who loves her daughter enough to protect her rights and the rights of every other girl in this room and every daughter to come and every granddaughter. It's pretty clear that this inconsistency with the written restroom policy has caused a rift in our community that should not be here. But if there's one thing I learned tonight, it was that law is what's guiding this board. And so if that's what's guiding this board, then I would like to tell the board, if any parent with a daughter affected by this would like to seek legal representation, we will have signups in the back.
Hector, Sam on board, next, yes, we've got Nikki.
Yep, Nikki Driscoll. I'm here tonight as a parent. My daughter is 15 years old. This year, she has repeatedly encountered an older male student using the restroom designated for freshman girls. I'm here to speak about what that has meant for her and what it means for the safety, privacy, and dignity of young female students in the school. My daughter is uncomfortable. She feels unsafe. I want you to see this through her eyes. Imagine being 14 or 15 years old. You're still trying to figure out who you are. You're intensely aware of your body, how it's changing, how it's perceived. The school restroom is one of the only places during the day that feels private. It's where you check your reflection because you feel self-conscious, where you manage your period and hope no one hears, where you calm anxiety, cry quietly, or take a breath before returning to class. It's not just a bathroom, it's a refuge. Now imagine being alone in that space when a male enters the room. How do you think she might feel? Even if he doesn't say or do anything, her body reacts before her mind can even reason it away. Her muscles tense, heart rate changes, she becomes hyper aware of where she is and how quickly she could leave. That reaction is not irrational, it's instinct. At 15, you're still a child. When an older, stronger student enters a space where you're vulnerable, changing clothes, managing menstruation, or just trying to compose yourself, there's an inherent power imbalance. And power imbalance creates fear and anxiety. Safety is not just about whether an incident occurs, it's about whether a child feels secure enough to let their guard down. And in that moment, my daughter does not. And yet she says nothing. Not because she's fine, but because she's afraid. Afraid of being labeled rude, dramatic, being mocked and targeted, afraid that her discomfort does not matter. And that should concern every adult in this room. Our school policies and procedures are teaching our daughters a dangerous lesson. That if they're uncomfortable, they should stay quiet. That if something feels wrong, they should just tolerate it. And that their boundaries are negotiable. And that their safety comes second to making someone else comfortable. As her parent, I cannot teach her to advocate for herself if the institution entrusted with her care is teaching her that her boundaries don't matter. I want her to grow into a confident young woman who knows that her voice matters, her privacy matters, and that she never has to surrender her sense of safety to keep the peace. Girls deserve separate sex restrooms and locker rooms, full stop. Privacy and safety during vulnerable moments matter. Single stall alternatives protect everyone without displacing girls. I am standing here tonight to model exactly what I want my daughter to learn, the courage to advocate for herself and for what is right, even when it's uncomfortable. I urge you to re-examine your policy and procedure and adopt solutions that protect all students without placing a burden on our girls.
And Mariah Helgerson up next. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hector Mejia. I'm a father of 7. I have 4 kids here in the Richmond School District, right? This was brought up to us probably about a week or 2 ago, I guess, when everybody else found out. Me and my family, my kids brought it up to me. My daughter, she's younger. I have an 8-year-old daughter in the elementary school. As a father, right, I come as a concerned father. But I remember when I was a little bit younger and my kids are ready to come out, I said, what would I ever do if something happened to my kid? What would I ever do if a man or somebody did something to one of my kids? I tried to put that away. That thought I don't ever want to think about. I didn't want it lingering. As right now, when we took the 10-minute break, I went to the restroom, right? I go to the restroom, I said, you in the restroom. Because I go in there, and I'm in the restroom, I use the restroom, all the men are there. I can just imagine if my daughter was in there and were to see something. How would you feel? If you're in the restroom, or your wife or your daughter, somebody's in the restroom, and they go see a man go in there, pull out his, and do whatever they're doing. Yes, I'm not saying that I'm not talking about no other community. I'm not saying that they're gonna go do something to them. But what if they see a glance of something? This is when we stand up, guys. We can't be pushovers. We can't just let people come over here and say, you know what? My family, I'm not condemning nobody. I love everybody, but I come to you as a man. What decision are you going to come to today? When I came in this room today and I heard the lawyer right here speaking, it was pretty much telling me this is what's going to happen, guys. This is what's going to happen, and this is what it gave me excuses to why this is. That's right. We're going to have to be held accountable for everything we do in this life. Whether it's now or we're going to make it. And this is where the change comes. What are you gonna do? You're gonna just stand here and let this happen? Then, bro, I give it up to you. I understand it's hard. But as a man and a concerned father, think about the right decision, man. What's right? That's all I got. God bless you.
Nikki, is it Barak on deck? I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. It's
Maria.
Maria, gotcha.
That's okay. Hi, I'm Maria Helgerson, and I am a parent of a 9th grade boy at the high school. First, I want to name the dignity of every Richmond High School student. Each student has profound worth, and each student is unique, unrepeatable, irreplaceable, and an important gift to our community. And so is every family and every voice that we've heard tonight. With this truth, each student must be treated with dignity and respect, love, and taken care of. With that said, we have a scenario where my son and my niece are living out their God-given biological sex as a male and a female in Richmond High School. This is true of a majority of the students in the school. However, it is not true of all of the students, and we must be sensitive to their lived experiences as well. So the question then is, how do we meet every student where they're at? For most students, it's easy. Biological males who identify as male go in the men's bathroom, and biological females who identify as female go in the women's bathroom. There are very few students, but there are some who are biological males who wish to identify as female and vice versa. I don't know how many, and I cannot speak for these students as I don't know them. But the fact that they're using the opposite gender locker room makes it very obvious that they're not comfortable in their same gender bathroom. So, as I first considered this scenario, it made sense to me to advocate for an expectation that students would use the bathroom that matches their biological sex, but that doesn't make sense. Upon talking with my son, who was a 9th grader, he expressed concern that should a biological male identifying as transgender, having perhaps sexual interest in males, enter the men's bathroom and see my son using a urinal that is not private, there is possibility this transgender student could be lustfully looking at him, and he could be uncomfortable. And this idea makes him feel uncomfortable. While he didn't express anything further, I have an additional concern, because as a high school student in Richmond, a while ago, I was sexually harassed in school. It does happen, and it is a real possibility. And not only am I concerned for my son, who might have a biological transgender male in his bathroom, but also for the males that are transgender, if they would go into the bathroom and they have to use a male bathroom, that they may be harassed by a male student. So we're left with the question of, what is the best scenario to accommodate all students? And there's only one scenario that accommodates all students. Males are in male restrooms, females are in female restrooms, and transgender students use a bathroom that matches their gender. With that said, we also need to address the scenario that all students are in a disagreement and that there is. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did great.
Travis Hamlin on deck. That's Travis. Kate. Kate Avery on deck. She here? Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Nikki Bocock, not Barack, Bocock. That's my name. Between my husband and I, we have three boys, 2 girls, 3 of which are already in the school district right now. 2 have since passed the school district, thank goodness. I have a daughter in high school right now, and I would say she's very uncomfortable with the situation of having men in the women's bathroom and in the changing rooms. Now, can she handle herself in case something were to physically some male would try and physically handle her? Yeah, she could probably handle anybody in this room. However, mentally, how does she feel when there is a man in the bathroom with her? We were born male and female, period. Now, if you feel that you are not the appropriate one, I urge you to think about that, and that is your choice. If you feel the need to kill yourself, I would like you to look to God and to look for love. Because God made you the way you are, period. He brought you into this world in His image. He loves you, and try and go forward. Killing yourself is not what should happen. Now, I want you as board members to look my daughter in the eye and tell her that her being uncomfortable with a male in the bathroom with her is okay, and that her feelings don't matter. I want you to look her in the eye and tell her that. Because that's what you're doing right now. You're telling my daughter that the way she feels is inappropriate. Now, there's bullying going on both ways, period. There are people in this room calling transgendered people the wrong names and bullying them. It goes both ways. People in this room are calling my daughter a Republican snowflake. They are calling her names. They are bullying her for standing up for her beliefs. That is also wrong. We as adults in this room and in this community need to stand up and do what is right for the children that are here. I know I have 30 seconds. This is not about God. This is about our children. This is about keeping them safe mentally and physically. Do what is right for the children. If there are people that identify something different than what they were born, give them a safe space to do it. Leave my daughter alone and leave the men alone.
Peter, is it Ellis? Daniel Fagan. Danielle. And I'm sorry, I've got Scott Heron on there. Go ahead.
Hi, Brian. I'm Mr. Turner. I've never been to a school board meeting here in this town. We came from Somerset, and when I came to New Richmond, I was very grateful for the inclusivity and the diversity and the beautiful arts, performing arts that you guys are lucky to have. I hear you making noise over here. It's really telling to me the place we're at. I'm so sorry about the last meeting you guys had to endure because I was listening to people call kids disgusting and very inappropriate things. These are children, and you can say, I'm not a transphobe, that's great, but then don't act like it, please. I would like the gentleman that was next to me saying that the lady who was speaking on the law, asking if her gender was appropriate, that was also inappropriate. I just really think we need to call our neighbors to task when they act inappropriately. You can have a stance and you can disagree, but what you cannot do is belittle the person next to you. I've had to tell a grown man to hush tonight. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me, and it should be embarrassing for all of us as a community. I did a little research on my own, and I went to, during conferences, to the office, and I asked where the single-use stalls are, how to locate them. I found out all of the places they are in the building. I called the district office and also asked questions. They were a little buttoned up because I'm sure they have to be right now because people are using words against you guys, which is unfortunate. I know that everyone here wants what's best for their kids. I have 2 daughters. I have a soldier. I have a soldier in the army, and she pees anywhere she can, I assure you. So making such a fuss about something so simple and making people feel bad about it, I'm sorry if your girls are uncomfortable. I might have raised mine a little tougher.
Oh, you're disgusting. You are disgusting. You are disgusting. You're disgusting. You are disgusting. You are disgusting. You're pathetic.
Thank you. So what I would like to
Point
say
of order.
is that.
Nope.
Be quiet. Let's stop talking about this.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting. You don't get to attack my daughter.
Perhaps if we raise our girls up.
Oh, yeah.
They have to come from the men's room because the boys are being inappropriate.
You're disgusting.
Pray for your Richmond, y'all. Pray for your Richmond.
Your daughter's gonna be raped.
Well, that was fun to follow. I'm Scott Heron. I'm a New Richmond resident. I've got one son come through the high school. I've got another son in school right now. My job affords me to know a little bit of history, and I kept thinking about it over the past week. For those of you that aren't aware, there was a movement to keep women from voting and from schools because the idea was that God didn't mean them to be there. There was a movement to keep Black people from being educated with white kids because according to the movement, God didn't want them to be there. There was a movement to keep homosexuals from school, and by the way, in bathrooms, because God didn't mean them to be there. And I find it really ironic that so many people in this room are quoting Title IX, and they probably forget that there was a huge movement against Title IX because that took money from boys. The bottom line is, and I appreciate the level-headed people in this room because there are common sense solutions here rather than the partisan extremism that we're hearing. I think that as a community and as a country, we are always best and remember ourselves best when we make room for the other. We try to include. We are at our worst when we try to exclude. My job doesn't really afford me much opportunity to talk about it, but since I'm here as a resident, I'm also a person of faith. And I'm glad that there's so many people here of faith. But it's interesting how much they want to talk about the laws of God and they forget his most important one. Love your neighbor as yourself. I don't remember the book talking about exceptions to that. I also know you can say it's not about hate. You can say it's about protecting, which all those times in history were also said. Call it whatever you want and mask it however you want. The book says you know a tree by its fruit. The fruit has been ugly. And if you've been online, you see it. And if you talk to students, you see it. And students getting run out of school, you see it. That's not what we want the fruit to be. We all want to protect our kids, protect them from judgment and hate,
I don't want to
protect them from bigotry. Thank you for your time.
Public comment is now concluded. I'm going to give the board a 10-minute recess.
10-minute recess.
2 hours.
Chat.
And we'll
Recess.
reconvene here in 10 minutes.
I am going to use the bathroom.
Going to the girls.
Thanks for everyone tuning in. Sorry we had to cut the live stream earlier. I thought streaming to Swap and X would have been a good idea, but I have a restreamer, Scarlett Johnson, shout out to her. Moms of Liberty, my bad. Moms of Liberty restreaming us. Thank you for amplifying the signal. I apologize to everyone in the chat that had to re-click the link and get back to it a few times. I'm not an experienced streamer, obviously. So thanks for staying tuned for the ones that are here. So right now they're in a 10-minute recess. I'm going to leave the camera here. And I'm going to mute stream. I'll be right back in a few minutes. I'm going to leave sound on. We're in a 10-minute recess. I'll leave my mic at the phone here.
You guys Yeah, it worked out very well. I know. You need it? You like that one? Yes. Yeah, she was it was like on the floor. Yeah, I think this is her Yeah, I think that's money. Just stay away.
Oh,
Chat, should we do something interesting? I have an idea. I noticed one of the board members talking to some people, Trey Gartner, straight back, left gray, brown sweater. Should we go ask him what he thinks of everything? Should we go ask someone what do they think what's going on? No? You don't think it's awesome?
thank you. I lost it just because I was turning in. I came in from work. I knew nothing about this meeting until I got home.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, I mean, the district should have sent out a mass email for such a large topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame.
And then not to cast it live.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I mean, up in that window there, they got the capability to make this live stream.
My daughter's been here for many concerts, and I had my mother-in-law who's up in northern Minnesota watch the live feeds.
Yeah, and a lot of people are getting booted from my stream earlier because I have a low subscriber count. Because I don't do this for a living or anything.
Right. Well, my wife sent me the link. She said, I don't know if it's the right one. So let's try it. Yep, that's auditorium.
Yeah.
All right. What's your name?
Let's see if I can find it. Might be a little hard to find it. It's a smaller channel. Sometimes smaller channels won't pop up. Here it is. There you are.
Perfect, thank you, sir. No, I got home from work. I work in St. Paul as a fire inspector. And my daughter said, "Not bad tonight." So when I get home a little after 5, she says, "Oh, by the way, there's a school board meeting tonight." Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of caught up notice with this. So,
And then I would have said something, or I said my 2 minutes worth of
yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to be here at the beginning of the meeting to put your name in. That's ridiculous too. If it's public comment, make it public comment.
Yeah. I mean, a raise of hand for speaking should even be almost warranted.
Appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Chad, should we go talk to someone? Bring the camera over there. We got a few minutes before it starts again. I want to go talk to someone.